Hello there. Welcome to the Science Owl Station channel. Today we drift into the canopy of the ancient southern forests to sit quietly beside a master of stillness, a creature that has perfected the art of doing absolutely nothing for millions of years. Imagine a world where time is measured not by the ticking of a clock, but by the slow, rhythmic chewing of a gum leaf and the shifting shadows of the afternoon sun. It is a place of blue haze and deep, resinous scents, where one of the world's most recognizable, yet enigmatic beings sleeps high above the ground, wrapped in a coat of gray wool. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I'm curious to know where you have found your resting place tonight. Are you tucked away in a city apartment with the hum of traffic outside? Or are you in a quiet house in the countryside where the crickets are singing? Let me know in the comments where and what time it is for you right now. I love imagining the web of quiet listeners stretching across the globe. Wherever you are, let the world slow down for a while. Soften your gaze, let the hum of life around you fade, and gently drift with us into tonight's quiet exploration. Our journey begins not with the animal itself, but with the stage upon which it sleeps. Close your eyes and transport yourself to the vast, arid continent of Australia. But we are not in the red desert. We are in the temperate forests of the east and south, where the air hangs heavy with a very specific perfume. It is a sharp, medicinal, yet strangely comforting scent, the smell of eucalyptus. This is the dominant fragrance of the koala's world, a sensory backdrop that never fades. The light here is dappled, filtering through the sickle-shaped leaves that hang vertically to avoid the harsh midday sun. In this forest, silence is not empty. It is a presence. It is a stillness that feels old, ancient even, as if the trees themselves are holding their breath. And perched high in the fork of a smooth-barked gum tree, there is a shape. At first glance, it might look like a termite nest or a clump of moss, but then you notice the soft, rounded ears, fringed with white fluff, twitching ever so slightly in the breeze. This is the koala. To understand the koala, we must first let go of the modern urge to rush. We often look at animals and judge them by their speed, their hunting prowess, or their rapid intelligence. But the koala invites us to appreciate a different kind of success. The success of endurance, of patience, and of conservation. They are members of an ancient order known as Diprotodontia. This scientific grouping connects them to a lineage of marsupials that stretches back deep into the fossil record. When we look at a sleeping koala today, we are looking at a modern echo of a time when giant marsupials roamed this continent. While their giant cousins, the diprotodons, which were the size of rhinoceroses, vanished into the mists of extinction, the ancestors of the koala found a niche. They climbed up. They found safety in the vertical world, away from the predators that prowled the forest floor. Over millions of years, they refined their existence to fit perfectly within the branches of the eucalyptus trees. They are not merely inhabitants of these trees. They are biological extensions of them. The scientific name of our sleepy companion is Phascolarctos cinereus. It is a name that rolls somewhat heavily off the tongue, much like the animal itself moves through the canopy. The name is derived from Greek and Latin roots. Phascolarctos translates roughly to pouched bear, and cinereus means ash-colored or gray. It is a descriptive title, painting a picture of an ash-gray bear with a pouch. However, as we settle in tonight, Let's clear up one of the most common misconceptions right at the start. Despite the nickname koala bear and the scientific nod to bears, they are not bears at all. They are marsupials, unrelated to the ursine family of the northern hemisphere. But looking at one with that round face, the button nose, and the stout, fuzzy body, it is easy to forgive the early European settlers for the confusion. They looked up and saw a silhouette that reminded them of the teddy bears of their childhoods, a comforting shape in a strange, rugged land. The stillness of the koala is profound. If you were to stand at the base of a gum tree and look up, you might watch a koala for an hour and see nothing move but the rise and fall of its chest. This is not laziness. It is a survival strategy honed to perfection. In the wild, movement attracts attention. Movement burns calories. Movement requires energy. For an animal that survives on a diet of toxic, low-energy leaves, conserving energy is the single most important law of life. They have turned stillness into an art form. They have evolved to be the monks of the forest, sitting in quiet contemplation, or more likely, deep unconsciousness, while the world rushes by below them. Think about the sheer scale of their evolutionary history. Fossils suggest that koala-like animals have been in Australia for at least 25 million years. They have seen the continent drift northwards. They have seen rainforests dry out and become eucalyptus woodlands. They have seen the arrival of humans and the changing of climates. Through all of this vast stretch of time, their strategy has remained largely the same. Climb high, hold tight, and sleep deep. There is something incredibly soothing about that consistency. In a world that is constantly reinventing itself, the koala remains a steadfast symbol of slow living. As we visualize this ancient forest, try to feel the texture of the environment. The bark of the eucalyptus trees varies wildly. Some are rough and stringy, offering an easy grip, while others are smooth and pale, like polished bone, shedding their bark in long, ribbon-like strips that rustle in the wind. The koala must navigate them all. When the wind picks up, the entire canopy sways. The eucalyptus branches are flexible, designed to bend rather than break. A sleeping koala rides this motion like a sailor on a gentle sea. They do not fight the sway. They move with it. They are tucked into the fork of the tree, their bodies molded against the hard wood, rocked to sleep by the very winds that might unsettle other creatures. This deep connection to the tree is more than just physical. It is an evolutionary marriage. The koala has bet its entire existence on the eucalyptus. It is a high-stakes gamble. By specializing so intensely, they have eliminated almost all competition for food. Very few other animals can stomach the fibrous, toxic leaves of the gum tree. It is a vast, exclusive banquet available only to them. But the cost of entry to this banquet is a life in the slow lane. The low energy yield of the leaves dictates everything about them, from the way they move to the way they think, and most importantly, to how much they sleep. We often think of sleep as a break from life, a pause button we press at the end of the day. But for the koala, sleep is life. It is the main event. Being awake is the anomaly. They spend their waking hours in short bursts, usually at night, moving with a deliberate, slow-motion grace to find the next clump of fresh leaves. The rest of the time, the other 18 to 22 hours of the day, they are in the realm of dreams. This makes them one of the sleepiest mammals on the planet. Tonight, we are going to explore the biology of this extreme relaxation. We will look at how a creature is built to sit on a hard branch for days on end without getting stiff. We will examine the unique fingerprints they leave behind. Did you know koalas have fingerprints so similar to humans that they have confused crime scene investigators? We will look at their velvety fur, their surprisingly loud voices, and the tender, hidden world of the pouch where their tiny joeys grow. But for now, in this first section of our journey, let us simply appreciate the koala as a presence in the landscape. They are the gray ghosts of the gum trees. They are the watchers in the woods who rarely watch back because their eyes are closed. They remind us that there is no need to rush. The eucalyptus forest has been here for eons, and the koala has been sleeping in its branches for just as long. There is a deep, resonating peace in that realization. The urgency we feel in our daily lives simply does not exist up there in the canopy. There is only the wind, the scent of oil and leaves, and the long, uninterrupted slumber of the Phascolarctos cinereus. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon in our imagined Australian landscape, the light turns golden and then violet. The temperature drops, and the air becomes crisp. The nocturnal sounds of the bush begin to stir, the chirp of a cricket, the hoot of an owl. But the koala remains still, a ball of gray fur wedged high in the safety of the leaves, waiting for the cover of darkness to make its slow move. We are just at the beginning of understanding this marvelous biological machine, this master of the slow life. We have settled into the forest, we have found our tree, and we have spotted our sleeping guide. The atmosphere is set, the air is cool, the leaves are rustling gently, and we are ready to climb closer. As we move deeper into the forest, let's draw our focus closer. We leave the wide-angle view of the canopy and float upward towards that solitary gray shape wedged in the fork of the tree. To understand how an animal can spend its entire life suspended high above the ground, we have to look at the machinery of its body. The koala is not built for the ground. On the rare occasions they descend to the earth to change trees, they look awkward, moving with a loping, bounding gait that seems disjointed and vulnerable. But the moment their claws touch the bark, they transform. They are engineers of the vertical world, and every inch of their anatomy is designed for one specific purpose: to lock onto a tree and never let go. If you were to take the hand of a sleeping koala, gently so as not to wake it, you would notice something immediately startling. It does not look like your hand, nor does it look like the paw of a dog or a cat. At first glance, it almost looks extraterrestrial. On their front paws, koalas have 5 digits, just like us, but they are arranged in a way that defies our standard expectation of symmetry. Instead of 1 thumb and 4 fingers, the koala possesses 2 thumbs. Yes, 2 thumbs. The first and second digits are opposable to the other 3. Imagine if your index finger moved over to join your thumb, creating a split in the hand that allows for a pincer-like grip of incredible strength. This double thumb arrangement gives them a vice-like hold. When a koala wraps its hand around a branch, the 2 thumbs press from one side while the 3 fingers press from the other. This creates a locking mechanism that requires almost no muscular effort to maintain. It is less like holding on and more like clamping down. This is why you will sometimes see a koala fast asleep, dangling by one arm, swinging gently in the breeze. They aren't struggling to hold on. Their anatomy has done the work for them. Extending from these digits are the tools of the trade, the claws. These are not the retractable, delicate claws of a house cat. These are thick, curved scythes, appearing almost black against the gray fur. They are needle-sharp and deeply hooked. When a koala climbs, it doesn't rely on friction alone. It drives these claws into the bark. Eucalyptus wood is notoriously hard. Some species are confusingly called ironbarks for a reason, but the koala's claws are harder. You can often hear a koala before you see it. A rhythmic scritch-scratch sound echoing through the quiet forest as they ascend. These claws act as anchors. Once they are dug in, the koala can hoist its entire body weight up with its powerful shoulder muscles. It is a slow, deliberate climb, like a mountaineer checking every piton before shifting their weight. Now, let's look at the hind feet. They tell a different story. The paws here are broad and padded, designed for bearing weight. But looking closely at the toes, you see another curiosity of evolution. The first toe on the hind foot is short and widened, lacking a claw entirely. This is the hallux, and it works like a thumb, opposable to the other toes, allowing the foot to grasp the branch just as effectively as the hand. But the real marvel is found on the second and third toes. In a condition known as syndactyly, these two toes have fused together. To the naked eye, it looks like one single, slightly thicker toe, but if you look at the end, there are two distinct claws emerging from it. Nature rarely makes mistakes, and this fused digit is not an error. It is a tool. It is a built-in grooming comb. The koala's fur is dense and woolly, and maintaining it is crucial for temperature regulation and waterproofing. This specialized double claw is used to comb through the fur, removing ticks, dirt, and loose hair. It is a humbling thought. This animal has evolved a specific physical structure solely for the purpose of personal hygiene. As we move up the body, you might notice something missing. Most tree-dwelling animals, monkeys, possums, lemurs, rely heavily on a tail. A tail is a counterbalance, a rudder, sometimes even a fifth limb. But the koala has no tail, or rather, it has a vestigial stump that is completely hidden within its fur. Why would an animal that lives so high up lose such a valuable balancing tool? The answer lies in their stillness. Tails are for active balancers, animals that leap and run along branches. Koalas do not leap if they can avoid it. They sit. A tail would simply get in the way. Over millions of years, the tail receded, allowing for a different adaptation to take center stage. The rump pad. The base of a koala's spine is curved and covered in a thick, dense mat of cartilage and fur. To put it simply, they have a built-in, heavy-duty cushion. Think about the hardest wooden chair you have ever sat on. After 20 minutes, you shift your weight. After an hour, you are uncomfortable. The koala sits on a branch that is often no wider than a rolling pin, harder than oak, and it does so for 20 hours a day. Without this specialized padding, the pressure would cut off circulation and cause immense pain. But the cartilaginous pad at the base of their spine acts as a shock absorber and a seat cushion combined. It allows them to wedge themselves into the fork of a tree, letting the branch support their full weight without feeling a thing. This is the secret to their marathon sleeping sessions. They are not just resting on the tree. They are anatomically designed to merge with it. This adaptation, the loss of the tail and the development of the padded rump, signals a major evolutionary commitment. It tells us that for the koala, sitting still is more important than moving fast. Evolution is a harsh editor. It cuts whatever is not used. The tail was expensive to grow and useless for sitting, so it went. The padded bottom was essential for energy conservation, so it stayed. Even their spine is curved in a way that complements the tree. When a koala curls up into a ball to sleep, its vertebrae round out perfectly, turning the animal into a compact sphere. This shape is crucial for thermoregulation, which we will touch on later, but physically it also centers their gravity. By curling tight, they bring their weight close to the branch, making them less likely to tip over. They become a stable knot on the wood. It is a masterpiece of biological design. Every missing piece and every added feature serves the ultimate goal of the koala: to do as little as possible. The double thumbs lock the door. The curved claws set the anchor. The tail is discarded to clear the seat. And the padded rump provides the furniture. They are not merely climbing the tree, they are wearing it. As you visualize the koala in this section, imagine the sensation of that grip. Imagine the strength required to hang there, yet the total lack of tension in the animal's body. They have reached a point of equilibrium with their environment. They do not fight gravity. They have hacked it. They have built a body that turns a precarious vertical existence into a life of leisure. The wind rustles the leaves around our sleeping subject. A claw twitches slightly, perhaps dreaming of a fresh grip, but the hold remains secure. The koala shifts its weight, utilizing that specialized cartilage pad, and settles deeper into the fork. It is a fortress of solitude built from bone, muscle, and fur. They are safe here. They are comfortable here. And because of this specialized anatomy, they can afford to drift away into the deepest of sleeps, high above the dangers of the ground, suspended in the cool eucalyptus-scented air. Now that we have examined the architecture of the koala's body, the bones, the claws, and the muscles that hold it aloft, we must turn our attention to the layer that meets the world. If the skeleton is the framework of this biological house, then the fur is its insulation, its waterproofing, and its camouflage. It is the blanket that the koala never takes off, a permanent embrace that keeps the harshness of the elements at bay. As you visualize the koala resting in the crook of the tree, look closely at the texture of its coat. From a distance, it appears soft, perhaps even silky, like the fur of a rabbit or a domesticated cat. But the reality is far more rugged, far more suited to a life exposed to the open sky. If you were to touch the back of a koala, you would find the fur to be thick, dense, and surprisingly coarse. It feels more like the wool of a sheep or the felt of a heavy winter coat than the sleek hair of a pet. This is not a coat designed for pampering. It is a coat designed for survival. This density is the secret to their endurance. Koalas possess the most effective insulating fur of any marsupial. Consider where they live. The Australian bush is a land of extremes. In the height of summer, the air temperature can soar well above 40 degrees Celsius, turning the forest into an oven. In the depths of winter, especially in the southern ranges, the temperature drops below freezing, and frost coats the eucalyptus leaves in a layer of white crystal. The koala, immobile and exposed, must endure it all without the luxury of a den, a burrow, or a nest. They have nowhere to hide but inside their own skin. The fur works by trapping layers of air close to the body. In the winter, these pockets of air are warmed by the koala's body heat, creating a thermal barrier that the freezing winds cannot penetrate. It acts like a high-quality down jacket, You might see a koala on a chilly July morning in Victoria, curled into a tight ball, its back to the wind. Frost might settle on its outer fur, but deep down, against the skin, the animal remains toasty and warm. The efficiency is so high that barely any heat escapes to melt the frost on its back. But this coat is not just a heater, it is also a shield against the rain. When the subtropical storms roll in, bringing torrential downpours that turn the forest floor into mud, the koala sits stoically through the deluge. They do not scurry for cover. They simply hunch over to let the water run off. The texture of the fur and the natural oils within it make it incredibly water resistant. The droplets bead on the surface and roll away, leaving the underfur and the skin beneath it perfectly dry. It is a biological raincoat that never needs reproofing. Listening to the sound of rain in the forest is deeply relaxing, but there is an added layer of comfort in knowing that the sleepy figure in the tree is impervious to the wet. They are dry islands in a sea of rain. The color of this coat is another marvel of adaptation, a study in the palette of the forest. To us, a koala might look distinct, but to a predator scanning the trees, they are almost invisible. The fur is a mottled mix of slate gray, chocolate brown, and silver, with a creamy white underside. This is not a uniform color. It is a complex texture of shades that perfectly mimics the play of light and shadow on eucalyptus bark. When a koala sits against the trunk of a gum tree, it disappears. The gray of its back blends seamlessly with the peeling gray bark of the tree. The white patches on its rump break up its outline, looking like patches of lichen or dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves. They are masters of cryptic coloration. They become a bump on the log, a knot in the wood. This camouflage is their primary defense. Since they cannot run and they rarely fight, their best strategy is simply not to be seen. They hide in plain sight, wrapped in a cloak that matches the furniture. Interestingly, this coat is not the same across the entire continent. If you were to travel the length of Australia's east coast, you would see the koala change. In the north, up in Queensland, where the climate is tropical and humid, the koalas are smaller. Their fur is shorter, lighter in color, and less dense. They are dressed for the heat, wearing a lighter summer jacket. But as you travel south, down into New South Wales and eventually into Victoria, the koalas grow larger and their fur changes dramatically. The southern koala is a fluffy giant compared to its northern cousin. Their fur is longer, darker, and incredibly shaggy, often with tufts of brown on the ears and a deeper, charcoal gray on the back. These southern koalas are dressed for the Antarctic winds that blow up from the Southern Ocean. It is a beautiful example of how nature tailors the suit to fit the wearer's environment. The same animal, the same DNA, but wearing a different outfit depending on the latitude. There is also a sensory aspect to their fur that we often overlook: the smell. If you were to lean in close to a wild koala, you would be greeted by a strong, unmistakable scent. It is the scent of the forest itself, distilled and concentrated. Because they eat so much eucalyptus, the oils seep through their pores and perfume their fur. They smell of musk and cough drops, a medicinal, earthy aroma that repels parasites and perhaps even discourages predators who find the smell too overpowering. They literally exude the essence of the tree they live in. The fur on their bottom is particularly thick. As we mentioned with the rump pad, the internal cartilage provides the cushion, but the external fur provides the upholstery. This fur is often matted and dense, providing an extra layer of protection against the rough texture of the bark. It prevents chafing and sores, allowing them to sit for those 20-hour stretches without discomfort. And let's not forget the ears. The large, round ears of the koala are framed by long, fluffy white hairs. While these certainly add to the cute factor that humans love, they serve a function. These tufts help to channel sound into the ear, but they also protect the sensitive skin of the ear from insects and the sun. They act as a soft, white frame for the face, giving the koala that alert, wide-awake look even when it is half asleep. As the sun climbs higher in our imaginary forest, the light hits the koala's coat. The silver tips of the guard hairs catch the light, making the animal glow with a soft halo. It shifts position slightly, perhaps scratching an itch with that fused toe we learned about, grooming the wool to keep it in prime condition. This grooming is the only maintenance the coat requires. There is no shedding season where they lose it all at once. It is a constant, slow renewal. The coat of silence. That is what it truly is. It muffles the sound of the wind. It hides them from the eyes of eagles and owls, and it keeps the internal world of the koala stable and warm. It is a boundary between the slow, warm blood of the animal and the chaotic, changing weather of the world outside. Wrapped in this gray wool, the koala is a self-contained unit of peace, carries its home on its back. So, as we leave the koala to bask in the filtered sunlight, comfortable in its custom-made suit, we can feel a sense of warmth ourselves. There is a coziness in imagining that thick, waterproof, windproof layer. It invites us to pull our own blankets a little closer to appreciate the warmth of our own beds. The koala is safe, dry, and hidden, perfectly attired for a life of doing absolutely nothing. We have explored the koala's ancient lineage, its clamping hands, and its weatherproof coat. Now we must journey inward, past the thick skull, to the control center of this sleepy existence. If the body of the koala is a masterpiece of energy conservation, the brain is its most ruthless accountant. In the animal kingdom, brains are expensive luxuries. They demand a huge amount of fuel, glucose and oxygen to keep the lights on. For a creature living on a diet that provides barely more energy than cardboard, a high-powered, complex brain is not an asset. It is a liability. So the koala has chosen a different path, the path of the minimalist mind. Imagine looking inside the skull of a koala. What you would find there is unique among mammals. Most mammalian brains, like ours or that of a dog, are wrinkled. These folds, or gyri and sulci, are nature's way of packing more surface area, more processing power into a small space. But the koala's brain is smooth. It is described by scientists as lissencephalic, which literally translates to smooth brain. It resembles two halves of a perfectly shelled walnut, pale and unblemished by the complex folds of higher cognition. This smoothness tells a story of reduction. Over millions of years, as the koala committed to its toxic, low-energy eucalyptus diet, its brain actually shrank. Ancestral koalas likely had larger, more complex brains. But as the eucalyptus forests expanded and the koala specialized, the brain became a budget cut. Today, the koala has one of the smallest brain-to-body weight ratios of any mammal. Its brain makes up only about 0.2% of its total body weight. To put that in perspective, if you were a koala, your brain would be the size of a tangerine. But there is a profound peace in this reduction. We often equate intelligence with worth, but the koala challenges that notion. Its brain is not dumb in the derogatory sense. It is perfectly streamlined for its specific purpose. It does not need to solve complex puzzles. It does not need to hunt elusive prey or outsmart a pack of wolves. It needs to do three things: find a tree, climb the tree, and eat the leaves. Any brain power beyond that is a waste of precious calories. In the silence of the koala's mind, there is no overthinking. There is no anxiety about the future or regret about the past. There is only the eternal now of the forest. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the koala's brain is not the brain itself, but the space around it. The brain does not fill the cranial cavity. In fact, it only occupies about 60% of the skull. The rest of the space is filled with a significant amount of cerebrospinal fluid. The brain literally floats inside the head, suspended in a liquid cushion. Why would an animal evolve a head that is too big for its brain? The answer lies in the danger of their lifestyle. Koalas live high up, often 20 or 30 meters above the ground. And despite their incredible grip, they do fall. Branches break, bark slips. During fights or mating chases, a koala can be dislodged. If a human fell from that height, the impact would be catastrophic. But when a koala hits the ground, that extra fluid acts as a built-in crash helmet. The brain has room to move. The fluid absorbs the shock wave, preventing the delicate tissue from smashing against the hard bone of the skull. It is a hydraulic safety system. This image of the brain floating in fluid is incredibly soothing. It is as if the koala's thoughts are perpetually suspended in a warm bath, insulated from the hard knocks of the world. It reinforces the creature's overall theme of buoyancy and suspension. Even their consciousness is floating. The simplicity of their brain leads to some quirks of behavior that are endearing in their limitations. The koala's understanding of the world is strictly procedural. Their recognition of food, for example, is tied entirely to the context of the tree. If you were to take a branch of fresh, delicious eucalyptus leaves, the exact leaves they love, and place them on a flat plate in front of a koala, the koala would stare at them blankly. It might even sniff them and walk away. To the koala's minimalist brain, if it isn't attached to a branch, it isn't food. They have not retained the cognitive flexibility to understand that leaf on branch and leaf on plate are the same object. This is not a failure. It is a rigid software program designed to prevent errors. In the wild, leaves are always on trees. Why waste neurons building a concept for leaves on the ground when eating off the ground is dangerous and unnecessary? Their mental map is simplified to the essentials. Vertical is good. Horizontal is suspicious. Green and attached is food. Everything else is irrelevant. However, where they need brain power, they have it. Their olfactory bulb, the part of the brain that processes smell, is huge. We will delve deeper into their nose in the next section, but purely from a brain structure perspective, it is clear that their reality is built on scent maps. They may not be able to solve a maze, but they can navigate a complex forest in pitch darkness, finding a specific tree among thousands just by the chemical signature it releases. Their memory for location is surprisingly sharp. A koala knows exactly where its home trees are, and it knows the invisible borders of its territory with precise accuracy. There is a meditative quality to this kind of existence. The koala does not suffer from the noise of a busy mind. It does not have an internal monologue chattering away about to-do lists or social embarrassments. Its mental state is likely a smooth, continuous hum of sensory input. The smell of oil, the feel of bark, the sound of wind. It is a state of pure being. This is the ultimate goal of many human meditation practices, to clear the mind, to stop the monkey mind from jumping from thought to thought. The koala is born into this state of Zen. They are the gurus of the empty mind. It is interesting to consider that sleep for the koala might not be that different from being awake. Since their waking state is so low energy and trance-like, the transition to sleep is merely a dimming of the lights. They do not have to wind down because they are never wound up. They slip between consciousness and unconsciousness with the ease of a shadow passing over a leaf. As we watch our koala in the tree, we can imagine that fluid cushion brain bobbing gently. The smooth surface of the cortex reflects the smooth, uncomplicated nature of its life. There is no clutter in there, no noise, just the biological directives of survival playing out in slow motion. In a world that prizes speed, data, and multitasking, the koala's brain is a testament to the power of enough. It has exactly enough intelligence to survive, and not a single neuron more. This minimalist approach allows them to channel all their limited energy into digestion and detoxification. If they were smarter, if they thought more, they would burn more glucose. They would need more food. They would have to move more. They would lose the very stillness that keeps them alive. Their small brain is actually the key to their survival strategy. It is the anchor that keeps them in the slow lane. So, as you relax tonight, try to emulate the koala's lissencephalic state. Visualize the wrinkles of your own worries smoothing out. Imagine your thoughts becoming less complex, less jagged. Let your mind become a smooth, quiet space where ideas float gently like the koala's brain in its protective fluid. There is no need to solve anything right now. There is no need to figure anything out. Like the koala staring at the leaves, you can simply exist. You are safe, you are cushioned, and the world is simple. The forest around the koala deepens into the true dark of night. The brain that requires so little drives the body to shift slightly, finding a more comfortable groove in the wood. The eyes close, shutting out the visual world, leaving only the sound of the breeze and the smell of the gum. The mind drifts. It does not dream of grand adventures. Perhaps it dreams of green, of sap, of the endless, comforting embrace of the tree. The minimalist brain powers down, conserving every spark of energy for the quiet work of living. If the eyes of the koala are often closed, shutting out the visual noise of the forest, the nose is wide awake. In the dark, shadowed world of the canopy, sight is a secondary sense. The true map of the koala's universe is drawn in invisible ink, in the complex, drifting chemical trails of scent. To understand the koala, we must shift our perspective from the visual to the olfactory. We must enter a world where wind direction carries messages, and where a tree trunk is not just a structure, but a bulletin board covered in news. Look at the face of a koala. The most prominent feature, the one that gives it that distinct, almost comical character, is the nose. It is large, dominating the face. It is not the wet, twitching nose of a dog, nor the delicate snout of a cat. It is a bold, leathery, black shield. The surface of the nose is textured, almost like the surface of a high-quality pebbled leather. It is hairless and cool to the touch. This expansive surface area is not for show. It is a high-tech radar dish for chemical molecules. The koala's nose is its primary interface with reality. When a koala wakes from its slumber and considers moving, the first thing that happens is the nose begins to work. You will see the head tilt back, the nostrils flare slightly, and the animal take in deep, deliberate drafts of air. They are reading the room. But the room is a forest, and the stories are written in the air. The primary job of this magnificent nose is that of a master chef or a sommelier. We know that koalas eat eucalyptus leaves, but they do not eat just any eucalyptus leaves. This is a critical distinction. There are over 700 species of eucalyptus in Australia, but a specific koala in a specific region might only eat 3 or 4 of them. And even within those 3 or 4 species, they will not eat every leaf. This is where the nose becomes a life-saving laboratory. Imagine the koala reaching out for a branch. Before a single bite is taken, the nose goes to work. The koala pulls the branch close, burying its face in the cluster of leaves. It inhales deeply. What it is doing is analyzing the chemical composition of that specific clump of foliage. Eucalyptus leaves are filled with toxic compounds, terpenes, phenols, and even cyanide precursors. The levels of these toxins vary from tree to tree, and even from branch to branch on the same tree, depending on the season, the soil, and the water levels. The koala's nose can detect these toxin levels with the precision of a mass spectrometer. If the smell indicates that the toxin load is too high, specifically if the levels of formulated fluoroglucinol compounds, FPCs, are dangerous, the koala will drop the branch with a look of utter disdain. They are notoriously picky eaters. A koala might sniff 20 branches and reject 19 of them, only settling on the 20th. This is not fussiness. It is survival. If they did not have this acute sense of smell to filter out the most toxic leaves, they would be poisoned within days. The nose acts as the gatekeeper, ensuring that what enters the body is survivable. This leads to a wonderful, quiet sound in the forest, the sound of the sniff reject. It's a soft exhalation, a puff of air clearing the nostrils, followed by the rustle of the rejected branch springing back into place. It is a slow, methodical process of elimination. Sniff. No. Sniff. No. Sniff. Yes. But the nose is not just for food. It is for reading the social diary of the forest. Koalas are solitary animals, but they are not disconnected. They exist in a complex social web that is maintained without ever seeing one another. They communicate through scent marking. Male koalas have a specialized gland in the center of their chest, known as the sternal gland. As they mature, this gland becomes active, often staining their white chest for a dark, sticky brown. It exudes a powerful, musky, oily substance. When a male koala climbs a tree, he will often pause and rub his chest firmly against the trunk, leaving a smear of this scent. To us, it might just smell vaguely musky, but to another koala, that smear is a full biography. A female climbing that tree days later can sniff that mark and know exactly who left it. She can tell his size, his health, his dominant status, and how long ago he was there. She can tell if he is a resident of this area or a transient wanderer. The nose decodes all of this data instantly. This creates a hidden landscape. To our eyes, the forest is a collection of vertical pillars. To the koala's nose, the forest is a crisscrossing network of invisible fences, highways, and do not enter signs. They navigate this invisible map in the dark, respecting boundaries and finding mates without ever needing to make a sound. The wind carries these scents for miles. A male koala can sit high in his tree, lift his nose to the breeze, and detect the pheromones of a female in estrus far across the valley. The air itself is thick with information. The structure of the nasal cavity is designed to maximize this sensitivity. Inside that large black button, the nasal passages are lined with millions of olfactory receptor cells. The surface area of this internal lining is massive compared to the size of the animal. It is folded and scrolled to pack as much sensory tissue as possible into the skull. This is why the olfactory bulb in their brain is so large. It has to process a constant, high-bandwidth stream of data coming from the nose. There is also a tactile element to the nose. While the leathery tip is tough, the area just around the nostrils is incredibly sensitive to airflow. They can determine the direction of a scent with pinpoint accuracy. You might watch a koala slowly turning its head, scanning the horizon like a radar dish until it locks onto a specific vector. That is the direction of the good leaves. That is the direction of the female. That is the direction of home. This reliance on smell adds to their slow, deliberate nature. Vision is instant. You open your eyes and you see. Smell is temporal. It takes time for molecules to drift, time to inhale, time to process. The koala's world unfolds at the speed of the wind. They cannot rush the air. They must wait for the story to come to them. This enforces a kind of patience that is deeply embedded in their psyche. They are listeners to the wind. Even the way they sleep protects this vital asset. When a koala curls up into a ball, known as the skein position, it tucks its head down onto its chest. The nose is often buried deep into the fur of the stomach or tucked under an arm. This serves two purposes. First, it keeps the nose warm. The naked skin of the nose is a major point of heat loss, so burying it acts like putting a cap on a thermos. Second, it filters the air they breathe while they sleep. By breathing through their own fur, they humidify and warm the air before it hits their lungs, conserving moisture and heat. It is a self-contained recycling system. The sensitivity of their nose also makes them highly reactive to artificial scents. In wildlife hospitals, carers have to be very careful not to wear strong perfumes or deodorants, as these alien smells can stress the animals or confuse their ability to recognize their own scent marks. They are creatures of the natural, organic world, the world of terpenes, eucalyptus oils, rain, and earth. The chemical noise of the modern world is overwhelming to them. As we drift deeper into this section, imagine the sensory experience of being a koala. Close your eyes and imagine that your primary connection to the world is not light, but scent. Imagine the sharp, clean smell of eucalyptus oil clearing your sinuses. Imagine the earthy, damp smell of the bark after rain. Imagine the faint, musky drift of another living being passing through the night. The world is not dark to the koala. It is vibrant with invisible colors of smell. The nose leads the way. It is the compass and the clock. It tells them when to eat, where to go, and who is nearby. It is a silent, steady guide in a quiet life. The koala trusts its nose implicitly. If the eyes say one thing and the nose says another, the koala will always follow the nose. It is the wisdom of the ancient senses, guiding them through the stillness of the canopy. And so, with a final soft snuff of air, the koala clears its nostrils, satisfied that the night air brings no immediate threats. The nose is tucked back into the warmth of the fur. The radar is placed on standby. The world of scent fades into the background, replaced by the rhythmic rise and fall of the chest as the sleeper returns to the deep, dreamless void. The nose has done its work. It has sifted through the chemical chaotic of the forest air and identified a specific tree, a specific branch, and even a specific cluster of leaves that meets the strictest safety standards. Now, the koala must undertake the task that dominates its few waking hours: eating. But this is not a simple meal. To eat like a koala is to engage in a high-stakes chemical warfare with nature, a silent battle fought in the gut and the liver, all while looking like a plush toy chewing on gum. Welcome to the paradox of the eucalyptus specialist. We often assume that animals choose the best food available, the sweetest fruit, the richest meat, the most protein-packed seeds. The koala has done the exact opposite. It has chosen a diet that is fibrous, low in nutrition, tough to chew, and, most alarmingly, highly toxic. The eucalyptus leaf is not designed to be eaten. In fact, the tree has spent millions of years evolving complex chemical defenses specifically to stop animals from eating it. The leaves are packed with tannins, which make them taste bitter and interfere with digestion. They are loaded with essential oils, the same oils we use for cleaning and medicine, which are toxic in large doses. In some species, the young leaves even contain precursors to cyanide, a deadly poison. And yet, the koala eats nothing else. Why? The answer lies in the quiet strategy of non-competition. By adapting to eat a food source that would kill almost any other mammal, the koala has secured a food supply that no one else wants. They have the restaurant entirely to themselves. While other animals fight over scarce fruits or hunt for elusive prey, the koala simply wakes up, reaches out, and grabs a handful of leaves. There is always food, as long as you can survive the meal. This specialization requires a level of selectiveness that borders on obsession. We mentioned the sniff reject in the previous section, but the scale of this pickiness is staggering. In any given forest, there might be dozens of eucalyptus species. A koala will typically rely on just 2 or 3 primary species for the bulk of its diet. Even within a single tree, the chemical composition changes. The leaves at the top of the canopy, exposed to the harsh sun, might have a higher oil content than the shaded leaves below. Old leaves might be too tough. Young leaves might be too toxic. So the koala becomes a connoisseur of the subtle. Watch one eat and you will see a slow, methodical process. They do not grab and stuff their mouths like a hungry monkey. They reach out with a hand, pull a spray of leaves closer, and nip off a single leaf with their front incisors. Then the grinding begins. The sound of a koala chewing is one of the distinct, rhythmic noises of the Australian bush night. Crunch, grind, grind, grind. Crunch, grind, grind, grind. It is a slow, steady cadence. Their molars are specially adapted for this task. The teeth are shaped like jagged mountain ranges, designed to shear and pulverize the tough fibers of the leaf. They must break the cell walls to release the nutrients inside. If they swallowed the leaf whole, they would starve. They have to chew it into a fine paste before they even swallow. This mechanical processing takes time. A koala might chew a single leaf for nearly a minute. There is no rush. There is nowhere else to be. The nutritional value of this diet is incredibly low. Eucalyptus leaves are mostly water and fiber, with very little protein or sugar. To get enough energy to survive, a koala has to eat a lot of them, between 500 grams and a kilogram of leaves every single night. That is roughly the size of a small bag of salad mix, but much, much denser. Given their small size, this is a huge volume of food. It fills their stomach, stretching the lining, making them feel full and heavy. This sensation of fullness, of a belly packed with leaves, contributes to their lethargy. We all know the feeling of a food coma after a heavy meal. The koala lives in a permanent state of post-Thanksgiving dinner drowsiness. There is another critical element to this diet: water. The word koala is thought to be derived from an indigenous word meaning no drink. For a long time, it was believed that koalas never drank water at all. While we now know this isn't strictly true, they will drink from streams or puddles during heat waves or droughts. Under normal conditions, they get almost all their hydration from the leaves. Eucalyptus leaves are surprisingly juicy. They can contain up to 50% water. By eating a kilogram of leaves, the koala is also consuming half a liter of water. This is why they are so particular about fresh leaves. A dried out leaf is useless to them. It offers no water and is harder to digest. They need the turgid, plump leaves that are full of moisture. This is also why you will often see them eating more in the hours just after sunset or just before dawn. When the dew has settled on the canopy, adding an extra layer of hydration to their meal. They are harvesting the water of the forest through the medium of the leaf. But let's return to the poison. How do they survive the daily dose of toxins that would lay a human low? The secret lies in their liver. The koala has a super liver. It produces a specific set of enzymes, known as the cytochrome P450 family, that are incredibly efficient at breaking down foreign chemicals. As soon as the toxic oils enter the bloodstream, the liver goes to work, neutralizing them and preparing them to be excreted. This detoxification process is metabolically expensive. It takes energy to break down poison, so the koala is in a constant energy bind. The food provides very little energy to begin with, and a chunk of that energy must be spent just to make the food safe. The net profit of calories is razor thin. It is like working a job where the commute costs almost as much as the paycheck. This economic reality dictates their entire lifestyle. They cannot afford to run. They cannot afford to play. They cannot afford to have a big brain. They can only afford to sit, chew, digest, and sleep. There is a strange beauty in this fragility. The koala exists on the edge of what is possible. It has found a niche that is so difficult, so demanding, that it is perfectly safe from competition. But it requires absolute adherence to the rules of the forest. If the trees die, the koala dies. They cannot switch to grass or berries. They are locked into this relationship with the gum tree. As you visualize the koala eating, imagine the smell of crushed eucalyptus filling the air. It is a sharp, clearing scent like a steam room or a spa. The oils released by the chewing act as a natural decongestant. The koala, with its large nose and steady chewing, is enveloped in a cloud of this fragrance. It is a sterile, clean environment. The leaves are clean, the air is clean, and the animal is focused. Sometimes a koala will store a little snack for later. They have cheek pouches, allowing them to tuck a wad of chewed leaves away. It's a way of saving a bite for that moment when they wake up briefly, don't want to move, but feel a little peckish. It speaks to their ultimate goal: efficiency. Why reach for a branch if you have food in your cheek? The meal eventually ends. The koala, having filled its stomach to capacity, moves slower than ever. The weight of the gut pulls them down. The jaw muscles, tired from thousands of chews, relax. The hands, stained with the green juice of the leaves and the brown tannins of the bark, release the branch. The toxins are being neutralized, the water is being absorbed, and the fiber is moving into the next stage of the internal factory. The forest night continues around them. The rustle of the leaves stops. The rhythmic crunching fades into silence. The koala wipes its mouth with the back of a hand, a gesture that is jarringly human, and prepares to return to the only thing more important than eating: digesting. And to digest this difficult meal, one must surrender completely to gravity and sleep. The cycle of the leaf is complete. The cycle of the dream begins again. The eucalyptus leaf has been selected, sniffed, approved, chewed, and swallowed. It has passed the gatekeeper of the mouth and descended into the dark, silent machinery of the koala's interior. We now enter the realm of the slow burn. If the koala's external world is one of stillness, its internal world is one of slow chemical alchemy. This is where the true secret of their survival lies, not in their claws or their fur, but in the extraordinary elongated journey of digestion. To understand the scale of this process, we have to talk about anatomy again, but this time the anatomy of the gut. In most mammals, the stomach does a significant amount of the work. But for the koala, the stomach is just the reception area. The real work happens much further down the line, in an organ known as the cecum. In humans, the cecum is a small pouch at the beginning of the large intestine. Our appendix is attached to it. It's relatively insignificant in our digestive process. In the koala, however, the cecum is a titan. It is a massive, blind-ended tube that can measure up to 2 meters in length. Think about that for a moment. The koala itself is a compact animal, perhaps 60 to 80 centimeters long. Yet, coiled inside its abdomen is a fermentation tank that is 3 times the length of its entire body. It is the longest cecum relative to body size of any mammal on Earth. This organ is the engine room of the koala. It is here that the tough, fibrous material of the eucalyptus leaf is finally broken down. The koala cannot digest cellulose on its own, no mammal can. We all rely on helpers. Inside that 2-meter tube lives a dense, thriving universe of bacteria. These microorganisms are the silent partners in the koala's life. They possess the enzymes capable of breaking the chemical bonds of the leaf fiber, releasing the volatile fatty acids that the koala uses for energy. This process, known as hindgut fermentation, is effective, but it is incredibly slow. It is not a flash fire. It is a composting process. The leaves must sit in this fermentation vat for a long time to yield their energy. The retention time, the time it takes for food to pass from the mouth to the other end, is staggering. In a human, digestion might take 24 hours. In a koala, a specific particle of leaf might remain in the digestive tract for up to 100 or even 200 hours. That is over a week. Imagine the meal the koala ate last Tuesday is only just now providing the energy for it to scratch its ear today. This delay creates a life that is lived on a magnificent lag. There is no fast food in the koala's world. Every calorie is hard-won, extracted over days of slow chemical simmering. This internal reality dictates the speed of the external animal. We often joke about the koala's sluggishness, calling them lazy or stoned. But this is a misunderstanding of their biology. They are not lazy. They are operating on a restricted energy budget. Because their food is so low in energy and takes so long to process, they run on a lower metabolic setting than almost any other mammal. Metabolism is the fire of life, the rate at which we burn fuel to keep our hearts beating, our bodies warm, and our muscles moving. Most mammals are like roaring campfires, consuming fuel quickly to generate high heat and high activity. The koala is a smoldering coal. Its metabolic rate is roughly half that of a typical marsupial of its size. It is running in power-saving mode permanently. This low metabolism manifests in everything they do. Their body temperature is slightly lower than most mammals, hovering around 35.5 to 36 degrees Celsius. By keeping their internal thermostat turned down, they save precious energy that would otherwise be wasted on heat generation. It is a game of margins. Every calorie saved is a calorie that doesn't have to be replaced by eating another toxic leaf. This is why koalas move in slow motion. Watch a koala reach for a branch. It lifts its arm with a deliberate hydraulic fluidity. It doesn't snap or jerk. Rapid movement requires fast-twitch muscle fibers and a surge of glucose, expensive commodities in the koala economy. Slow movement is cheap. By moving slowly, they ensure they never exceed their metabolic limit. They are the Tai Chi masters of the animal kingdom, proving that you can get where you need to go without ever rushing. This slow digestion also explains the shape of their belly. When you see a koala sitting in a tree, it often looks pear-shaped with a round, distended abdomen. That is the fermentation tank at work. The sheer volume of leaves and fluid required to keep the system running means they are carrying a significant amount of ballast. They are heavy with their own life support system. There is a fascinating rhythm to this internal factory. While the koala sleeps, the gut works. The bacteria are churning, the fermentation is bubbling quietly, and the energy is trickling into the bloodstream. The animal rests so the body can focus all its resources on this difficult task. If the koala were running around, blood would be diverted to the muscles and away from the gut, stalling digestion. So, stillness is actually a requirement for their digestion. To eat is to sleep. Even their waste tells a story of efficiency. Koala scats are distinctive, uniform, olive green pellets, shaped like bullets, smelling faintly of eucalyptus. They are incredibly dry. As the digested material reaches the end of the line, the koala's lower intestine works hard to reclaim every drop of moisture. Remember, they drink very little water. They cannot afford to flush it away. The dryness of the pellets is proof that the koala is a master of recycling, keeping its water for itself and returning only the dry, processed fiber to the forest floor. These pellets, in turn, fertilize the very trees that feed them, closing the loop of the nutrient cycle. As we visualize this section, let's foster a deep appreciation for the invisible work happening inside the sleeping animal. It is easy to admire the running cheetah or the flying eagle. Their effort is visible, but the effort of the koala is hidden. It is a metabolic marathon that never ends. Inside that gray, woolly stomach, a complex biological factory is breaking down one of the toughest substances in nature, turning poison into peace and fiber into fur. The slowness of the koala is not a defect. It is a finely tuned calibration. They are synchronized with the slow growth of the trees. They live at the speed of sap. In our fast-paced world, where we are obsessed with metabolizing information, experiences, and food as quickly as possible, the koala offers a different wisdom. Teaches us that some things cannot be rushed. Digestion takes time. Processing takes time. Life takes time. The koala shifts on its branch. A gurgle, audible only to the closest observer, rumbles from its belly. The sound of the great cecum doing its work. The slow burn continues. The energy from a leaf eaten 3 days ago finally reaches the muscles of the shoulder, allowing the koala to make a small adjustment to its position. It is a life lived in the deep, slow lane, fueled by a fire that burns low, but burns long. And so, the engine hums quietly in the dark. The koala remains suspended between the earth and the stars, a vessel of slow transformation. The work is happening on the inside, so the outside can remain perfectly, beautifully still. We have arrived at the heart of the koala's existence. We have built the stage. The ancient forest, the specialized body, the warm coat, the minimalist brain, and the slow-burning internal engine. Now we witness the main event, or perhaps more accurately, the main non-event. If you were to observe a koala for 24 hours, for the vast majority of that time, you would be watching a statue. This brings us to the defining characteristic of the species, the trait that has made them global icons of relaxation, the sheer, unadulterated magnitude of their sleep. Let's talk numbers. The average human sleeps for roughly 8 hours a day. A domestic cat, famous for its napping ability, might manage 12 to 16 hours. But the koala operates in a different league entirely. A healthy, wild koala will spend between 18 and 22 hours of every single day in a state of sleep or deep rest. That leaves a mere 2 to 6 hours for everything else: eating, moving, grooming, and socializing. To put it another way, a koala spends nearly 90% of its life unconscious. It is a staggering statistic. If a koala lives for 10 years, it will have been awake for only one of them. The rest of the time, it is a traveler in the land of dreams. But as we sit here in the quiet of the virtual forest, it is important to reframe how we view this sleep. In human society, excessive sleep is often labeled as laziness or lethargy. We view it as a waste of time. But for the koala, sleep is not a waste. It is a job. It is the most productive thing they can do. Think back to the toxic, low-energy leaves we discussed. Every time a koala moves, it burns glucose. Every time it burns glucose, it needs to replace it by eating more leaves. But eating more leaves introduces more toxins, which requires more energy to detoxify. It is a biological trap. If a koala were to run around like a monkey for even an hour, it would crash. It simply could not eat enough fast enough to refuel. So nature has imposed a strict curfew. The koala sleeps to survive. By shutting down its body and mind, it reduces its energy expenditure to the absolute minimum, allowing its slow metabolism to inch ahead of its energy needs. Sleep is the battery saver mode that never gets turned off. There is a distinction to be made here between sleep and rest, although to the casual observer, they look identical. For a portion of those 20 hours, the koala is not fully asleep. It is simply resting. It is awake, eyes perhaps half open, ears twitching at the sounds of the bush, but it is physically motionless. This is a state of wakeful rest, a period of conservation where the brain is online but the body is offline. They are simply sitting, existing. There is a meditative quality to this. They are not waiting for anything in particular. They are just letting time pass until the hunger reflex triggers the next bout of feeding. When they do drop into true sleep, they go deep. They have to. The safety of the canopy allows them to disconnect completely. Unlike a grazing deer that must sleep with one eye open, constantly alert for predators, the koala is relatively safe high in the gum tree. There are few natural predators that can reach them there, perhaps a powerful owl or a bold python, but generally the risk is low. This security allows them to enter REM, rapid eye movement, sleep. Yes, koalas dream. What does a koala dream of? We can only speculate. Perhaps they dream of endless forests of young, juicy leaves with no toxins. Perhaps they dream of the cool wind. Watching a sleeping koala, you might see the same small twitches you see in a sleeping dog. A paw flicking, a nose wrinkling, ears shifting. These are the telltale signs of a brain processing the day's sensory data. Even in their profound stillness, there is a flicker of internal life. The rhythm of their sleep is dictated by the sun and the temperature. They are primarily nocturnal or crepuscular animals. Crepuscular is a beautiful word that describes creatures who are most active at twilight, the dim, blue hours of dawn and dusk. These are the transition times. As the sun sets and the heat of the day dissipates, the forest wakes up. This is the koala's morning. They wake up slowly, stretching their limbs, yawning wide to reveal those pink mouths and grinding teeth, and begin the slow commute to the next branch. Conversely, as the sun rises and the day heats up, the koala shuts down. Heat is an enemy. Sleeping is a way to escape it. By curling up during the hottest part of the day, they minimize water loss and keep their body temperature stable. You will often see them sleeping in different positions depending on the weather, using sleep as a behavioral thermostat. We will explore these positions more deeply in the next section, but for now, understand that their sleep schedule is perfectly synchronized with the pulse of the environment. Imagine the passage of time around a sleeping koala. The sun rises in the east, casting long shadows through the eucalyptus trunks. The birds begin their morning chorus, the warbling of magpies, the raucous laughter of kookaburras. The forest is a hive of activity. Insects buzz, lizards scuttle on the bark, wallabies thump through the undergrowth. And through it all, the koala remains. The sun climbs to its zenith, baking the leaves, silencing the birds. The koala remains. The shadows lengthen again. The light turns gold, then violet. The temperature drops. The koala remains. They are the anchor in a moving world. There is something deeply soothing about visualizing this steadfastness. In our own lives, we often feel like we are constantly running, chasing deadlines, reacting to notifications. The koala offers a permission slip to stop. It reminds us that the world will keep turning even if we close our eyes. The trees will keep growing. The air will keep circulating. Nothing terrible will happen if we just stop and rest. In fact, the koala's ability to sleep is a superpower. It allows them to inhabit harsh, dry environments where more active animals would perish. By doing less, they survive more. It is the philosophy of wu wei, non-action, taken to its biological extreme. They do not fight the scarcity of their environment. They sleep through it. We can also consider the vulnerability of this deep sleep. To sleep so heavily, 20 meters above the ground, requires an immense amount of trust. Trust in their grip, which we know is mechanically locked. Trust in the tree that it will hold their weight. And trust in their camouflage. When a koala sleeps, it tucks its head down, hiding the most recognizable part of its silhouette. It becomes a ball of fur. To a predator looking up against the bright sky, a sleeping koala is just a dense cluster of mistletoe or a burl on the wood. Their stillness is their shield. If they moved, they would be seen. By sleeping, they become invisible. As we end this section, let yourself feel the weight of that 20-hour slumber. Imagine the heavy, relaxed sensation of limbs that have nowhere to go. Imagine the freedom of having no schedule other than the one dictated by your own body's needs. The koala is not missing out on life by sleeping. It is mastering it. The forest night is fully established now. The koala has finished its brief window of eating and is settling back down. The eyes close, the breathing slows, the heart rate drops. The great gray giant of the canopy drifts away once more, leaving the waking world behind for the safe, soft embrace of the dream time. It will be another 18 hours before the world sees those eyes again. And in that long, quiet interim, there is only peace. We have explored how much the koala sleeps, establishing them as the undisputed champions of rest. But there is a practical question that arises when you look up at a ball of gray fur perched 30 meters in the air. How do they stay there? For us, sleep is a state of total muscle relaxation. If a human were to fall asleep sitting on a narrow branch, gravity would take over instantly. We would slump, slide, and fall. But for the koala, gravity is not an enemy to be fought. It is a force to be partnered with. The way a koala positions itself to sleep is a masterclass in physics and comfort. As we visualize the koala now, let's observe the sheer variety of their sleeping postures. We might assume there is only one way to sleep in a tree, but the koala has a repertoire of positions, each chosen with the precision of a yoga master to suit the temperature and the shape of the tree. The most iconic position is known as the skein. Imagine a ball of yarn, tightly wound and compact. This is the posture of the cold. On chilly nights, or when the southern winds whip through the eucalyptus forest, the koala seeks to become a sphere. As we touched on earlier, a sphere has the smallest surface area to volume ratio of any shape. By reducing surface area, you reduce heat loss. Watch the koala enter this pose. It sits on the fork of the branch, placing its padded rump firmly on the wood. Then it curls its spine forward. The head tucks down, the chin burying itself into the thick fur of the chest. The arms and legs are drawn in tight against the body. Finally, the ears, those large radiators of heat, are flattened or tucked away. The result is a perfect, compact ball of gray wool. In this position, the koala is almost weatherproof. Rain rolls off the curved back, wind glides over the smooth surface, and the valuable warmth of the body is trapped in the center. It is a posture of total withdrawal from the elements. But let's shift the scene to a scorching summer afternoon. The sun is beating down, and the air is thick with heat. The skein would be dangerous now. The koala would overheat. So, they switch to a position that looks almost comical in its abandon. The dangle. In this posture, The koala looks like a towel thrown carelessly over a washing line. They drape themselves over the branch. A leg might hang straight down, swaying in the breeze. An arm might be flung out to the side. The head might be lolling back. It looks like the sleep of the exhausted, the sleep of a teenager on a sofa. But this sloppiness is actually a sophisticated cooling strategy. By opening up their body, they expose the areas where the fur is thinnest, the stomach and the inner limbs, to the air. This allows heat to escape. There is an even more fascinating aspect to this summer sleeping style, one that science has only recently fully understood. You might see a koala on a hot day pressing its entire stomach and chest flat against the main trunk of the tree, wrapping its arms around it as if giving the tree a hug. For years, observers thought they were just holding on. But thermal imaging cameras have revealed the truth. They are using the tree as a refrigerator. Eucalyptus trees draw vast amounts of water from deep underground. Because of this internal water flow, the trunk of the tree is significantly cooler than the surrounding air, sometimes by as much as 5 to 7 degrees Celsius. By pressing their bodies against the smooth, cool bark, the koala transfers its body heat into the tree. This process, known as conductive cooling, is incredibly efficient. It allows them to survive heat waves without sweating or panting, which would waste precious water. They are literally hugging the tree to stay cool. It is a beautiful image of symbiosis. The tree feeds them, holds them, and now it cools them. Then there is the armchair position. This is perhaps the most relatable to us. The koala finds a perfect fork where 3 or 4 branches meet, creating a natural bucket seat. They sit back, looking for all the world like they are reclining in a lazy boy chair. Their back is supported by one branch, their bottom by another, and their legs rest casually on a third. In this position, they are barely holding on at all. They are wedged. It is the position of pure leisure, used when the weather is mild and the tree offers the right architecture. Regardless of the position, ball, drape, or armchair, the mechanism of safety remains the same. How do they not fall when they enter the deepest phase of REM sleep? The secret lies in the locking nature of their joints and claws. When a human grips something, it requires active muscular effort. To keep your hand closed around a bar, your brain has to send a signal to your muscles to contract. If you fall asleep, the signal stops, the muscles relax, and the hand opens. The koala's anatomy works differently. Their tendons and ligaments are arranged in such a way that the weight of the animal actually tightens the grip. When they settle onto a branch, the pressure of their body weight causes the claws to dig in and the digits to clamp shut. To let go requires effort. To hold on is the default state. This means that a sleeping koala is mechanically locked to the tree. They could be in the deepest dream, twitching and chasing imaginary leaves, but their hands will not open. They are shackled to safety by their own biology. Even in death, koalas have been known to remain clinging to the branch, so powerful is this passive grip. There is something profoundly peaceful about watching a koala sleep through a storm. Imagine the forest during a gale. The canopy is thrashing wildly, branches whipping back and forth in violent arcs. The noise is deafening. The roar of the wind, the creak of timber, the snapping of twigs. Yet, in the center of this chaos, the koala remains anchored. They move with the tree, riding the storm like a surfer rides a wave. They do not panic. They do not scramble for the ground. They simply tighten their curl, dig in their claws, and wait. Their ability to sleep through such turbulence is a testament to their sensory filtering. We learned about their small brains and their reliance on smell. It seems they also have the ability to tune out auditory noise that isn't relevant. The sound of wind, no matter how loud, is just background noise. Unless there is the specific crack of the branch they are sitting on, they sleep on. This section invites us to consider our own relationship with gravity and comfort. We spend fortunes on mattresses and pillows, seeking that perfect alignment. The koala finds it on a hard, cylindrical branch, hundreds of feet in the air. They mold themselves to the world rather than molding the world to them. The texture of the bark against their fur, the gentle or sometimes violent rocking of the tree, the shift from sun to shade. These are the sensations of their sleep. They are never truly separated from nature. Even in unconsciousness, they are touching the tree, feeling the wind, sensing the temperature. They are not sleeping in the forest. They are sleeping with the forest. As we leave the koala in its chosen posture for the night, perhaps a tight skein as the evening air cools, we can marvel at the physics of this rest. It is a defiance of the fall. It is a mastery of the vertical. They have turned the dangerous heights into a cradle. High above the predators, high above the worries of the ground, wrapped in their own arms or hugging the cool trunk of their home, they demonstrate that with the right adaptation, you can be comfortable anywhere. The wind dies down. The branch steadies. The koala, a silhouette against the moon, remains perfectly, beautifully still. The wind whispers through the leaves, carrying with it the scent of impending rain. The air grows heavy and cool. We have watched the koala sleep, we have watched it eat, and we have marveled at its ability to simply exist in the canopy. Now, we must address a fundamental question of life: water. In the arid landscapes of Australia, where drought is a constant companion and the sun bleaches the earth bone white, water is the currency of survival. How does an animal that spends its life high in a tree, far from rivers and billabongs, stay hydrated? This question leads us to the very name of the animal itself. The word koala is derived from the Darug language of the indigenous peoples of the Sydney Basin. While linguistic interpretations vary, it is widely translated to mean no drink or doesn't drink. For nearly 2 centuries, European settlers and early naturalists took this literally. They believed the koala was a biological anomaly that never needed to touch water. They watched them for days, weeks, even months, and never saw them descend to a stream. The myth of the drinkless bear was born. But as with many myths, the truth is more nuanced and far more fascinating. Koalas do drink, but they have evolved to be the most water-efficient mammals on the continent. They have turned their environment into a hydration system so effective that, for most of their lives, they truly do not need to seek out a pool of water. They are not independent of water. They are masters of hidden water. The primary source of their hydration is, once again, the miraculous eucalyptus leaf. We have spoken of its toxicity and its toughness, but we must also speak of its moisture. A fresh, healthy eucalyptus leaf is a hidden reservoir. Even in the dry heat of the Australian bush, these deep-rooted trees tap into groundwater far below the surface, pulling it up through the trunk and pumping it into the leaves. A single leaf can be more than 50% water by weight. When a koala eats, it is not just dining. It is drinking. Every rhythmic chew of the jaw squeezes the precious moisture out of the leaf cells. By consuming up to a kilogram of leaves a night, a koala is inadvertently drinking nearly half a liter of water. This is their baseline. This is why they are so selective about which leaves they choose. They are not just smelling for toxins. They are smelling for water content. A dried, brown leaf is rejected not just because it is tough, but because it is thirsty work. They need the juiciest leaves, the ones that snap with a burst of moisture. However, the leaf is not their only source. Nature provides a supplemental delivery system, and the koala has a unique behavior to utilize it. It is a phenomenon known as stem flow. Imagine a sudden summer storm breaking over the forest. The rain comes down hard, drumming on the canopy. For most animals, this is a time to hide. But for the koala, this can be a drinking opportunity. The smooth, pale bark of the gum tree acts like a giant funnel. Rainwater hits the leaves, runs down the branches, and collects on the smooth trunk, streaming down in rivulets. If you were lucky enough to be watching during a storm, you might see a koala wake from its slumber. It does not climb down. Instead, it leans forward and begins to lick the bark. Its tongue is pink, long, and muscular. It laps up the water running down the tree trunk just as a cat laps milk from a saucer. They are drinking the tree itself. This behavior allows them to harvest pure, clean rainwater without ever leaving the safety of the canopy. It is a brilliant adaptation. Why go to the river when the river comes to you? They also utilize the subtle hydration of the morning dew. In the early hours of dawn, before the sun burns the mist away, the eucalyptus leaves are often coated in fine droplets of water. A koala feeding at this time gets a bonus drink with every bite. It is a 2-for-1 deal, food and water in a single package. But taking water in is only half the battle. The real secret to the koala's success is how strictly they stop water from leaving. Their bodies are miserly with moisture. We touched upon this when discussing their digestion, but it bears repeating. Their kidneys are physiological marvels. The koala's kidneys are adapted to concentrate urine to an extreme degree. They filter the blood and reclaim almost every molecule of water before excreting waste. Their urine is highly concentrated, and as we noted, their fecal pellets are incredibly dry, almost like sawdust compressed into a bullet. They do not sweat, as sweating is a luxury they cannot afford. Instead, they use behavioral cooling, panting only in extreme heat and sprawling against cool branches to regulate temperature without losing fluid. This system works perfectly in a balanced ecosystem. But there is a poignant side to the story of koala hydration in the modern world. As climate change shifts the patterns of the Australian weather, the forests are changing. Droughts are becoming longer and hotter. The groundwater is dropping. The eucalyptus leaves, stressed by the heat, are becoming drier and more toxic. The water balloon of the leaf is deflating. This is why, in recent years, the behavior of the koala has begun to shift. We are seeing something that was once incredibly rare: koalas coming to the ground to drink. In extreme heat waves, when the leaves no longer provide enough moisture, the ancient rule of no drink is broken by the immediate need for survival. You may have seen viral videos of koalas approaching cyclists to drink from water bottles or burying their faces in dog bowls in people's backyards. While these moments are often shared as cute, they are actually signals of deep thirst. They are acts of desperation. In response, conservationists and scientists have begun installing blinky drinkers. artificial water stations attached to trees in the wild. These are simple bowls that refill automatically, and the koalas are using them. Cameras have captured koalas climbing down to these stations, drinking long and deep, sometimes for 10 minutes at a time. It turns out that while they can survive without free water, they will happily drink it if it is available and they are thirsty. It is a testament to their adaptability. They are learning new ways to find water in a drying world. But tonight, in our pristine, imagined forest, the balance is still held. The storm has passed, leaving the world glistening and damp. The air smells of petrichor, the distinct, earthy scent of rain hitting dry soil. It is a smell that promises life. The koala shakes its head, sending a spray of droplets flying from its ears. It runs its tongue over its nose, catching a stray drop of rain. It is fully hydrated, its thirst quenched by the storm and the sap. The water coursing through its veins is the water of the forest, recycled, filtered, and borrowed from the tree. There is a deep satisfaction in the concept of thirst being quenched. It is one of the most primal reliefs a body can feel. As you lie there, perhaps taking a sip of water yourself, imagine the coolness of it. Imagine the koala high above, feeling that same coolness. The system is working. The inputs match the outputs. The cycle of hydration is complete. The koala settles back into the fork of the tree. The rain has stopped, but the forest is dripping. Plip, plop, plip. The rhythmic sound of water droplets falling from leaf to leaf is nature's lullaby. It is a sound of abundance, of renewal. The drinkless bear closes its eyes, filled with the water of the sky and the water of the leaf, and drifts back into the dry, warm harbor of sleep. The rain has evaporated, leaving the forest floor damp and the air crisp. As the koala stirs from its deep slumber, stretching a stiff limb against the pale bark, it looks out into the canopy. To our eyes, the forest looks like a communal space, a continuous sea of green leaves where animals might gather, chatter, and interact. But through the eyes of the koala, the forest is something very different. It is a vast, invisible checkerboard of territories, a landscape defined not by connection, but by separation. We are now entering the world of the solitary life. In the human experience, we often equate solitude with loneliness, a state to be avoided. But for the koala, solitude is the baseline of existence. It is the preferred state. It is safety. To be alone is to be calm. Unlike the noisy, chaotic troops of monkeys that swing through the rainforests, grooming each other and fighting for status, the koala is a monk. They do not travel in packs. They do not form herds. They do not have best friends. Aside from the intimate bond between a mother and her joey, which we will explore later, the adult koala is a fiercely independent entity. They live their lives in a bubble of personal space that stretches for acres. This social distancing is not accidental. It is a biological necessity driven, once again, by their energy budget. Socializing is expensive. Fighting is expensive. Even the simple act of grooming another animal takes time and energy that a koala simply does not have. Their battery is charged only enough for their own maintenance. To spend precious glucose grooming a neighbor would be an evolutionary error. So, they have evolved a society based on mutual avoidance. They are the neighbors who nod politely from a distance but never invite you over for dinner. This does not mean they are unaware of each other. Quite the opposite. A koala population is a highly structured community, but the structure is built on invisible lines. Each koala maintains a home range. This is their kingdom. It consists of a specific set of food trees, shelter trees, and the ground corridors connecting them. The size of this range varies. In the lush, resource-rich forests of the coast, a home range might be relatively small, perhaps a few hectares, because the food is dense. In the harsher, drier inland forests, a single koala might need 100 hectares just to find enough leaves to survive. These home ranges overlap in a complex Venn diagram. An alpha male, the dominant figure in the area, will have a large territory that overlaps with the smaller ranges of several females. He is the landlord of a vast estate. However, the ranges of two dominant males rarely overlap. They respect the border. They stay in their own lanes. To cross the line is to invite conflict, and conflict is a waste of energy that neither wants to afford. Navigating this solitary world requires a deep respect for boundaries. A koala knows exactly which tree belongs to whom. They learn the map of their world with the precision of a taxi driver. If a koala needs to cross through another's territory to get to a water source or a fresh patch of leaves, it does so with caution, often moving quickly by koala standards, and keeping a low profile. They are trespassing and they know it. One of the most fascinating aspects of this solitary nature is the lack of social grooming. In almost all other social mammals, from wolves to chimps to meerkats, grooming is the glue that holds the group together. It builds trust, reduces stress, and establishes hierarchy. Koalas do not do this. You will never see two adult koalas sitting together picking ticks off one another. They are self-reliant in the extreme. As we learned, they have that specialized fused toe to do their own grooming. They are their own best friends, their own caretakers. This independence creates a forest atmosphere of profound quiet. There are no warning calls shouted from tree to tree. There is no chatter. There is just the wind and the rustle of leaves. It is a society of ghosts, where members drift past each other in the night, acknowledging presence but avoiding contact. However, there is a distinct etiquette to their avoidance. If two koalas find themselves wanting the same tree, perhaps it is the only tree with fresh growth after a bushfire, or the coolest tree on a hot day, they will usually try to wait each other out. If a koala climbs a tree and finds it occupied, the most common reaction is to simply back down. Apologies. I didn't realize this seat was taken. They will retreat and find another tree rather than force an interaction. There are exceptions, of course. If a young male wanders into the territory of an older, larger male, the owner might issue a warning, a low, guttural growl that vibrates through the wood. If the intruder doesn't leave, a scuffle might ensue. But these are rare, desperate measures. The system is designed to prevent them. The scent marks we discussed earlier act as occupied signs. A fresh scent mark on the trunk tells a wandering koala, "I am here. I am big. Go away." And the wanderer, reading the sign with its nose, usually obeys. There is a serene beauty in this isolation. Imagine the koala sitting high in its tree, the only beating heart in that specific patch of canopy. It is the master of its domain. It doesn't have to share its food. It doesn't have to worry about social politics or who is angry with whom. It simply exists. The silence around it is not lonely. It is luxurious. It is the luxury of space. This lifestyle also protects them from disease. In the animal kingdom, crowding equals contagion. By maintaining strict distances, koalas naturally limit the spread of parasites and infections. It is nature's quarantine. When humans force koalas into smaller habitats by cutting down forests, crowding them together, we break this natural barrier. Stress levels rise, immune systems crash, and diseases like chlamydia run rampant. The koala needs space not just for food, but for sanity. They are introverts who physically sicken if forced to be extroverts. As the night deepens in our narrative, we can visualize the koala moving through its range. It climbs down from a feed tree, its sharp claws gripping the soil, a rare moment of vulnerability on the ground. It walks with a loping, intent gait, crossing the open forest floor to the next tree, 50 meters away. It is alone in the dark. A wallaby might hop past, an owl might swoop overhead, but the koala pays them no mind. It is on a solo mission. It reaches the next tree, smells the bark to confirm it is within its rights to climb, and ascends. Once back in the safety of the leaves, it settles. This tree is familiar. It knows the curve of the fork. It knows the taste of the leaves. It is home. There is a lesson for us in the koala's solitary life. We live in a world of constant connection, of unceasing digital noise and social obligation. We are terrified of missing out. The koala teaches us the value of missing out. It teaches us that it is okay to draw a circle around yourself and say, "This is my space." It teaches us that there is dignity in being alone, and that you can be part of a greater whole, the forest ecosystem, without constantly engaging with every part of it. The koala shifts, finding that perfect spot where the branch meets the padded rump. It is alone, but it is not lonely. It is complete. It has its coat, its tree, its leaves, and the infinite quiet company of the stars. In this vast solitude, the koala finds its peace, undisturbed by the demands of others, wrapped in the comforting silence of a life lived at a distance. The silence of the solitary life is profound. We have walked with the koala through a world defined by quiet. The quiet of the moss, the quiet of the floating brain, the quiet of the isolated territory. But the Australian bush is a place of contradictions, and sometimes the silence is broken by a sound so unexpected, so primal, that it seems to belong to a creature 10 times the size of our sleepy friend. If you have ever camped in the eucalyptus forests of Australia during the spring or summer, you may have been startled awake by a noise in the dark. It is a sound that defies easy description. It starts as a low, grunting snort, rhythmic and guttural, like a pig digging for truffles. Then it descends into a deep, resonating bellows, a gravelly roar that vibrates through the trees. It sounds like a cross between a donkey's bray, a revving chainsaw, and the rumble of a large predator. It is hard to believe that this terrifying prehistoric sound comes from the plush, sleepy koala. Welcome to the world of the koala bellow. This is the voice in the dark. For an animal that spends 99% of its life trying to be invisible, the koala possesses a voice that is designed to be impossible to ignore. To understand the science of this sound, we have to look at the physics of pitch. Generally, in the animal kingdom, the pitch of a voice is determined by the size of the animal. A mouse squeaks, a lion roars. The larger the vocal cords, the deeper the sound. Based on the koala's modest size, roughly that of a medium dog. It should sound like a whimper or a high-pitched bark, but it doesn't. The pitch of a male koala's bellow is incredibly low, about 20 times lower than it should be for an animal of its weight. In fact, the frequency of their call is comparable to that of an elephant. How does a 10-kilogram marsupial produce the sound of a 4-ton pachyderm? The answer lies in a piece of anatomical engineering found nowhere else in the animal kingdom. Koalas have a hidden instrument. Most mammals produce sound using the vocal cords inside their larynx, the voice box. The koala uses these for its softer sounds. But for the bellow, they bypass the larynx entirely. They have evolved a second set of vocal folds, known as velar vocal folds. These specialized folds are located in the soft palate, the fleshy area at the back of the roof of the mouth, the velum. These folds are much larger, heavier, and longer than the standard vocal cords. When the koala inhales and exhales with force, these heavy folds vibrate, creating that distinct, staccato snoring sound that drops into the deep, shuddering bellow. They are literally using the roof of their mouth as a subwoofer. This discovery, made relatively recently by scientists, solved the mystery of the small animal, big sound. It is an acoustic trick. By evolving these extra-large folds, the koala can fake its size. It projects an image of a giant into the darkness. But why shout? Why break the carefully cultivated silence? The answer, as with so many things in nature, is romance and rivalry. The bellow is primarily the song of the male koala. During the breeding season, the forest fills with this chorus. But unlike the melodious song of a bird, the koala's song is a declaration of presence. It is a sonic fence. When a male bellows, he is broadcasting a wealth of information. He is saying, "I am here. I am large. I am healthy." The deeper the sound, the larger the animal, or at least the larger he sounds. This serves two vital purposes. First, it warns other males to stay away. If a wandering male hears a deep, resonant bellow echoing from a clump of trees, he knows that a formidable rival holds that territory. He can choose to walk away without ever seeing the owner. The voice allows them to settle disputes without fighting. It is conflict resolution through acoustics. They shout at each other from a kilometer away so they don't have to scratch each other face to face. Second, the bellow is a serenade for the females. Female koalas are discerning listeners. They sit in their trees, ears twitching, analyzing the bellows of the males in the surrounding area. Studies have shown that females are more attracted to the males with the deepest, most resonant voices. They know that a deep voice signals a large body, and a large body signals good genes and survival skills. They choose their mates based on the quality of their broadcast. There is a fascinating rhythm to this communication. A male will bellow, a series of inhalations and exhalations that lasts for 30 seconds or a minute. Then silence. He waits. Far off in the distance, another male might answer. Then another. It is a slow-motion conversation taking place over miles of forest, a chain reaction of grunts rolling through the valley. But the bellow is not the only sound in the koala's vocabulary. While the male's roar dominates the night, there is a softer, more intimate language spoken between mother and joey. This is the language of care. When a joey is separated from its mother, or when it wants to return to the pouch or the back, it makes a sound that tugs at the heartstrings. A soft, high-pitched squeak or yip It sounds very much like a human baby or a small puppy. It is a sound of vulnerability. The mother responds with a gentle, murmuring click or a low hum. These sounds are quiet, meant only for close-range communication. They are the whispers of the nursery, distinct from the shouting of the territory. There is also the sound of distress. If a koala is threatened, perhaps cornered by a dog or handled roughly by a human, it produces a high, wavering cry that is often described as a scream. It is a chilling sound, full of fear, but let us not dwell on that. In our peaceful forest tonight, there are no threats. There is only the safe, rhythmic communication of the wild. The bellowing of the koala has a surprisingly soporific effect once you get used to it. It is the sound of life continuing. It is a reminder that the forest is healthy and populated. There is a deep, primal comfort in hearing these ancient calls. They are the heartbeat of the bush. Imagine the sound waves traveling through the night air. They pass through the leaves, vibrating the molecules of the mist. The male koala, having finished his call, sits still. His chest heaves slightly from the effort. He listens. The echo of his own voice fades into the dark. He has made his mark on the world, not with a footprint, but with a sound wave. He has asserted his existence. For the listener safely tucked away, this sound is a connection to the wildness of the world. It is a sound that has echoed through these forests for millions of years, long before human cities rose. It is a timeless, guttural chant. As the breeding season wanes, the forest grows quieter. The bellows become less frequent. The conversation slows down. The koala returns to his vow of silence. The vocal folds relax. The throat settles. The nose takes over again as the primary communicator. The night air is still once more. The loud, booming declaration of "I am here" is replaced by the soft, rhythmic scratching of claws on bark and the steady crunch, crunch, crunch of leaves. The voice in the dark has spoken, and now the silence is even deeper than before. The bellows have echoed through the valley, the deep, resonant songs of the males marking the invisible map of the forest. Now the season turns. The crisp chill of the winter fades, replaced by the warm, buzzing energy of spring and early summer. The sap is rising in the gum trees, the insects are humming a louder tune, and the forest enters the season of new life. This is the time of the koala's most active, yet still strangely slow social engagement, mating. For the majority of the year, the male and female koalas are like ships passing in the night, separated by acres of forest and a mutual desire for solitude. But the chemical signals in the air, the pheromones we discussed earlier, change the rules. The female, coming into estrus, leaves a scent that is undeniable. It is a biological invitation that pulls the male out of his stupor. He begins a trek. For a creature that prefers to sit still for 20 hours a day, this is a significant undertaking. He descends from his safety, crosses the dangerous ground, and enters the territory of the female. He is guided by the nose, following the invisible ribbon of scent that winds through the trees. He is on a mission. When he finds her tree, the interaction is rarely a tender courtship in the way we might imagine it. Nature, in its raw necessity, often dispenses with pleasantries. The male climbs her tree. If she is not ready, she will let him know with sharp claws and high-pitched cries, warding him off. But if the timing is right, the encounter is brief. There is a frantic energy to koala mating that stands in stark contrast to their usual lethargy. It is a burst of activity, a grasp, a bite on the scruff of the neck to hold position, and a quick union. It is functional. It is the transfer of genetic material from one generation to the next, executed with the efficiency of animals who know they cannot afford to burn too much energy on romance. And then, almost as quickly as it began, it is over. The male retreats. He does not stay to cuddle. He does not help build a nest. Koalas, after all, do not build nests. He does not bring food. His role in the life of the next generation is complete. He climbs down, returns to his own home range, and resumes his life of solitary eating and sleeping. He is a donor, not a father. The female is left alone in the tree, but she is no longer just one animal. A silent clock has begun to tick within her. The miracle of reproduction has been triggered. What happens next is a testament to the unique biology of the marsupial. In placental mammals like us, the baby grows inside the mother for a long time, 9 months for humans, nearly 2 years for elephants. The mother's body nourishes the fetus through a complex placenta, growing it to a significant size before it enters the world. The koala, however, takes a different path. The pregnancy of a female koala is incredibly short. It lasts only about 33 to 35 days. It is barely a month. In this time, the fertilized egg does not grow into a fully formed miniature koala. It remains embryonic, a tiny cluster of cells organizing themselves into the barest essentials of life. During this month, there is no visible change in the female. She does not get a baby bump. She does not slow down, though given her baseline speed, it would be hard to tell. She continues to eat her kilogram of leaves, continues to sleep her 20 hours. She is building the resources she will need, not for the pregnancy, but for the marathon of lactation that lies ahead. This period of new life is a quiet, internal shifting of gears. The female's body is preparing the nursery. Her pouch, which we will explore soon, begins to ready itself. Her mammary glands develop. She is becoming a vessel of life support. There is a profound solitude in this task. In many animal species, the burden of reproduction is shared, or at least supported by a herd or a pack. The mother koala bears it entirely alone. She is the protector, the provider, and the home. Her success depends entirely on her ability to stay healthy, to find the best leaves, and to avoid stress. As you visualize the female koala in this section, imagine her sitting in the fork of a tree on a warm November afternoon. The light is dappled and bright. She looks the same as she did yesterday, but something fundamental has changed. She is now carrying the future. She is a guardian of a spark that is still too small to be seen, but powerful enough to ensure the survival of her ancient line. The forest around her is bursting with life. Birds are feeding their fledglings. Lizards are chasing each other in the undergrowth. The koala remains still, a quiet anchor in the chaotic spring. She is conserving her strength. She is waiting for the moment when the jelly bean arrives. This phase of the cycle reminds us of the unseen work of nature. So much of growth happens in the dark, in the quiet, long before there is anything to show for it. We often judge progress by visible results, but the koala teaches us that the most important work often happens in silence, deep within. The sun sets and the female shifts her weight. She feeds on the young tips of the eucalyptus, fueled by the rich spring growth. She is eating for two now, even if the second one is microscopic. The cycle turns. The male is gone, his bellows fading into memory. The female is alone, but she is ready. The stage is set for one of the most remarkable journeys in the animal kingdom, the journey of the joey. The 35 days have passed. The moon has cycled once. High in the canopy, in the quiet crook of a gum tree, a miracle is about to occur. It is a miracle of scale. We are used to the births of large mammals, the foal stumbling to its feet, the human baby crying with robust lungs. But the birth of a koala is a secret, whispered event, invisible from even a few feet away. The female koala sits in a peculiar position. She is not lying down. She is sitting on her lower back, her body curled forward, creating a clear path along her abdomen. She is calm. There is no distress. And then, emerging into the world, comes the joey. To call it a baby seems almost an exaggeration of its size. It is undeniably tiny. It is the size of a jelly bean. It weighs less than 1 gram. It is roughly 2 centimeters long. It is pink, hairless, blind, and has no ears. It looks more like a larval grub or an embryonic distinct idea of a creature than a finished animal. It is raw life in its most vulnerable form. This tiny being, this speck of pink biology, faces an immediate monumental challenge. It has left the internal warmth of the birth canal and is suddenly exposed to the air. It is wet, cold, and blind. Its mother does not pick it up. Her large hands, with their sharp claws, are too clumsy for such a delicate task. She does not nudge it. She simply sits and waits. The joey must make the journey alone. It is one of the greatest treks in nature. The distance is short, perhaps only 10 or 15 centimeters from the birth canal, the cloaca, to the opening of the pouch. But for a creature the size of a bean, fighting gravity with undeveloped legs, it is the equivalent of climbing a mountain. But the joey is not helpless. Nature has equipped it with exactly what it needs for this specific moment. While its hind legs are mere buds, useless and weak, its forelimbs are surprisingly well developed. On its tiny, transparent hands, it has sharp little claws. These are its ice axes. It reaches out, gripping the fur of its mother's belly. It moves by instinct and smell. The mother may lick a path through her fur, wetting it to mat it down, creating a subtle road for the neonate to follow. But the joey is driven by a powerful olfactory beacon. The pouch smells of milk and safety. It drags itself upward, hand over hand, in a slow, agonizingly determined crawl. It swims through the forest of fur. Imagine the effort. It has just been born. It has no energy reserves. It breathes the air with lungs that are only just ready. It feels the cool wind of the forest on its naked skin. It thrashes its head side to side, seeking the scent, and pulls. Reach, grip, pull. Reach, grip, pull. It is a silent struggle for survival. If it falls, it is lost. There is no second chance. But it does not fall. For millions of years, these tiny jelly beans have made this climb, defying the odds. The journey takes only a few minutes, perhaps 5 or 10, but it defines the resilience of the species. Finally, the joey reaches the rim of the pouch. It is a warm, dark cave. It tumbles inside, leaving the bright, cold world behind. Inside the pouch, the environment is humid and safe. It is a return to the womb, but an external one. The joey navigates the darkness until it finds what it seeks: a teat. There are 2 teats inside the pouch. The joey latches onto one with a desperate hunger. And here, the second phase of the miracle happens. Once the joey begins to suckle, the teat swells inside its mouth. It expands to fill the oral cavity, creating a lock that is almost impossible to break. The joey is now physically tethered to its mother, cannot let go even if it wanted to. It is fused to the milk source. Safe. The mother relaxes. The tiny traveler has arrived. She may not even realize the moment it happened. So slight was the movement on her belly. She shifts her weight, returning to her normal sitting posture. The pouch opening, controlled by a strong sphincter muscle, tightens shut. The nursery is closed. The outside world is locked out. For the observer on the ground, nothing has happened. The koala looks exactly as she did an hour ago. She is still sitting. She is still sleepy. But now she is a universe. She carries a second life, a secret passenger tucked away in the warm pocket of her skin. The joey, exhausted from its climb, settles into the darkness. It is suspended in warmth. The milk flows, a specialized formula, low in fat but rich in the specific proteins needed to build a body from almost nothing. The joey's heart beats in rhythm with the mother's. It sleeps. There is a profound gentleness in this image. The most dangerous journey of its life is over before it even has eyes to see the world. It is safe now. It has nothing to do but grow. It will transform from a jelly bean into a koala, cell by cell, in the quiet, rocking cradle of the pouch. This form of reproduction, so alien to us, is a masterstroke of adaptation. By giving birth to an embryo, the mother avoids the high energy cost of a long pregnancy. If there is a drought, if food is scarce, if she is stressed, she can pause the process or, in tragic circumstances, lose the joey with minimal cost to her own survival. It allows her to bet on the future without risking everything in the present. But tonight, there is no tragedy. There is only success. The climb is done. The connection is made. The forest night continues its slow rotation, and high in the tree, a new heart is beating, hidden in the velvet dark, dreaming its first dreams of milk and warmth. We remain in the dark, but it is a warm, living darkness. We have followed the jelly bean into the sanctuary of the pouch, and now we must settle in for the long haul. The outside world continues its cycle of sun and rain, wind and stillness, but inside the pouch, time seems to stand still. This is the era of the pocket life. For the next 6 months, the joey will not see the sun. It will not touch a leaf. It will know only the smell of milk, the texture of skin, and the steady, reassuring thrum of its mother's heartbeat. Let us examine the architecture of this nursery. We often think of pouches as simple pockets, like the one on a kangaroo, which opens at the top. But the koala's pouch is designed differently. It opens backward, towards the rear of the animal. To the uninitiated, this might seem like a design flaw. Wouldn't the baby fall out? But the sphincter muscle we mentioned earlier is strong, keeping the entrance tightly cinched. Why a backward-facing pouch? Evolution rarely does things without a reason. The answer lies in the koala's history and its habits. Koalas share a common ancestor with wombats, who are burrowing animals. A backward pouch prevents a wombat from shoveling dirt onto its baby while digging. For the koala, who climbed up into the trees, the backward pouch serves a new purpose. As the mother climbs, dragging her belly against rough bark and navigating through tangles of branches, a forward-facing pouch could catch on twigs or fill with debris. The backward pouch is sleek and aerodynamic. It protects the joey from the friction of the climb. It is a shielded cockpit. Inside this safe haven, the transformation is slow and magical. The joey is no longer fighting for survival. It is growing. The energy from the mother's milk, that specialized changing formula, is turned into bone and muscle. The pink, transparent skin begins to thicken. Pigment fills in. The first downy hairs begin to sprout, turning the jelly bean into a soft, velvet creature. For months, the joey does nothing but suckle and sleep. It is the ultimate state of dependency. But around the 22nd week, a significant milestone occurs. In the darkness, eyelids that have been fused shut since birth finally separate. The joey blinks. It opens its dark, brown eyes. There is nothing to see yet, only the dim, filtered light coming through the pouch opening. But the machinery of sight is now online. It is preparing to witness the world. Around this same time, the joey begins to move more deliberately. It is no longer just a passive passenger. It starts to explore the boundaries of its world. You might see the mother's belly ripple and bulge as the joey stretches a limb or turns over. It is getting cramped in there. The joey is now roughly the size of a kitten, covered in short, gray fur. It has ears now, and a nose that is beginning to twitch. And then, something extraordinary happens. It is perhaps the most critical and bizarre event in the life of a koala, a process that bridges the gap between the safety of milk and the danger of eucalyptus. We know that eucalyptus leaves are toxic and fibrous. We know that the adult koala needs a gut full of specialized bacteria to digest them. But the joey is born sterile. His gut is empty. It has no bacteria. If it were to eat a leaf now, it would die. It cannot digest it, and the toxins would overwhelm it. It needs a starter kit. It needs an inoculation. The mother provides this in a way that is unique to nature. At around 6 months, she begins to produce a substance called pap. To the human eye, it looks like soft, green feces, but biologically, it is something far more precious. It is a specialized form of cecal droppings, material that has bypassed the usual digestive process and comes straight from the mother's cecum, that giant fermentation tank we explored earlier. The pap is a concentrated soup of gut flora. It is packed with millions of the specific bacteria required to break down tannins and fiber. It is also rich in protein and incredibly nutritious. The joey, driven by instinct, leans out of the pouch opening. It stimulates the mother's cloaca, and she releases the pap. The joey eats it voraciously. This is not waste. This is a biological transplant. By eating the pap, the joey is swallowing the microbiome of its mother. It is seeding its own gut with the software it needs to survive. It is inheriting the family secret, how to eat poison and live. This process, known as pap feeding, lasts for only a week or two. It is a transitional phase, a bridge. Once the joey's gut is colonized by these bacteria, the pap production stops. The joey is now internally armed. It is ready to face the eucalyptus. This period of the joey's life is filled with a deep intimacy. The mother is giving everything to her offspring, her milk, her protection, and even her own internal biology. She loses weight during this time. The energy demand of producing milk and pap is immense. She sleeps even more deeply, conserving every joule of energy for the life growing inside her pocket. As the weeks pass, the joey grows too large for the pouch. It begins to peek out. If you were walking in the forest, this is the moment that would stop you in your tracks. A small, furry head with bright eyes and oversized ears poking out from the mother's abdomen. It looks at the world with pure curiosity. It sees the leaves. It sees the ground far below. It smells the wind, but it is not brave yet. At the slightest noise, a snapping twig, a bird call, it retracts instantly, diving back into the safety of the pouch like a turtle into its shell. The sphincter pulls tight. The joey vanishes. The pouch phase is the season of preparation. It is the time when the koala is built. It enters as an embryo and leaves as a miniature adult. It is a period of total incubation, shielded from the heat, the cold, and the rain. The joey floats in a limbo of comfort, suspended between the internal and external worlds. The bond formed here is absolute. The joey knows its mother's smell better than it knows itself. It knows the rhythm of her breathing. It knows the specific texture of her fur. This bond will last for another 6 months or more, but the nature of it is about to change. The confines of the pouch are becoming too small. The legs are getting too long. The world outside is calling. Imagine the joey in these final days of the pouch phase. It is cramped, knees tucked against its chest, head bowed. It is warm but tight. It feels the urge to stretch. It feels the urge to climb. The claws, once soft and white, are now hard and black. The muscles in the arms are defined. The biology is complete. The pocket life is coming to an end. The door is unlocking. The next time the joey pokes its head out, it will not just be looking. It will be leaving. The great transition from the belly to the back is about to begin. But for tonight, the joey curls up one last time in the tight, warm embrace of the pouch, unaware that the ceiling is the sky. The day arrives. It is not marked on any calendar, but the biological clock strikes the hour. The pouch, once a cavern of infinite space, is now a tight squeeze. The joey, now covered in soft, thick fur and fully sighted, pushes against the rim. The muscle relaxes. The world opens. Welcome to the era of the backrider. This is the image we all carry in our hearts when we think of koalas. The stoic mother climbing the tree with a wide-eyed miniature version of herself clinging to her back. It is one of the most endearing sights in nature, but for the koala, it is a necessary graduation. The pouch is for incubation. The back is for education. The transition is clumsy at first. Imagine the joey, who has only ever known the dark, stumbling out into the blinding light of the Australian sun. It blinks, dazzled by the green and gold of the canopy. It clutches the mother's belly fur, initially refusing to let go of the pouch entrance. But the mother moves. She climbs. To stay secure, the joey must scramble higher, up the flank, over the shoulder, until it finds the sweet spot, the dorsal saddle. Here, in the middle of the mother's back, just below the neck, the joey finds a new kind of safety. It buries its claws into her thick wool. It wraps its arms around her warmth. It is now a passenger on a living ship. From this vantage point, the joey sees everything the mother sees. It learns the height of the trees. It watches the sway of the branches. It learns the route. This piggyback phase lasts for several months, usually until the joey is about a year old. It is a period of intense, passive learning. The koala mother is not a teacher who gives lectures. She does not point things out. She simply lives and allows the joey to witness it. The most important lesson is food. The joey has been inoculated with the gut flora, but it still relies heavily on milk. Now, it must learn to select leaves. It watches the mother. It sees her nose twitch as she sniffs a branch. It sees her reject the red-tinged old leaves. It sees her select the tender green tips. Tentatively, the joey reaches out from its perch on her back. It grabs the same leaf she is eating. It mimics her sniff. It mimics her bite. It is learning the family trade, how to distinguish dinner from poison. You will often see a mother chewing rhythmically, gazing into the distance, while the joey on her back chews on a smaller leaf with the same serious expression. They are a synchronized team of eaters. But the back is not just a classroom. It is a gym. The joey must build muscle, holding onto a moving mother while she navigates a vertical world requires immense strength. The joey's arms bulge with effort. It learns to anticipate her movements. When she prepares to jump, a rare, bounding leap between branches, the joey hunkers down, flattening itself against her spine to become aerodynamic. It learns the rhythm of the climb. There are moments of comedy in this phase. The joey is often adventurous but clumsy. It might decide to explore a branch on its own, moving a few feet away from the mother. It walks with a wobbly, uncertain gait, sniffs a beetle. It bats at a hanging strip of bark. But suddenly, the wind picks up or the branch dips and panic sets in. The joey squeaks, that high-pitched yip-yip, and scrambles back to the mother, diving onto her back as if the branch were on fire. The mother usually ignores this drama completely, continuing her nap. She is the anchor. The joey is the boat on a tether. Sleep becomes a logistical puzzle. How do two animals sleep when one is stacked on top of the other? They find a way. The mother curls into her usual ball, and the joey curls on top of her, molding its body to the curve of her spine. Or, sometimes, the mother hugs the tree, and the joey hugs the mother's stomach, sandwiched between her warmth and the cool bark. They become a single, large, gray lump in the tree. The heat transfer is comforting. They keep each other warm in the winter winds. As the months pass, the joey grows heavy. A 6-month-old joey is light, but a 10-month-old joey can weigh 2 or 3 kilograms. Carrying this weight is a heroic feat for the mother. She climbs slower. She eats more. She is exhausted. You can sometimes see the weariness in her posture, but she never shakes him off. The bond is absolute. She will carry him until he is nearly as big as she is. Weaning is a slow drift rather than a sharp break. The joey drinks less milk and eats more leaves. It spends more time off her back and more time on adjacent branches. It begins to sleep in its own fork, perhaps just a meter away from her. The invisible umbilical cord is stretching. This separation is gentle but inevitable. One day, the mother will move to a new tree, and the joey will hesitate. It will stay, or perhaps she will gently push him away when he tries to climb on, signaling that the taxi service has ended. It is time to walk. This period of the backrider, is the golden summer of the koala's childhood. It is a time of protected exploration. The dangers of the world are kept at bay by the fierce protectiveness of the mother. If a threat appears, an eagle casting a shadow or a python slithering too close, the mother transforms. She is no longer the sleepy, slow creature. She becomes a fortress. She pulls the joey to her chest, shielding it with her own body. She will scratch and bite with surprising ferocity to defend her passenger. But mostly there are no battles. There is just the slow, sun-drenched education of the canopy. The joey learns the smell of rain. It learns the feeling of the wind ruffling its fur. It learns the patience that defines its species. It learns that life is not about rushing. It is about holding on. As we visualize this pair, let's focus on the tactile nature of their connection. The feeling of fur against fur, the grip of small claws on wool, the synchronized breathing. It is a relationship built on touch. In a solitary species, this year of constant contact is the only time they will ever truly touch another living being for an extended period. It is a reservoir of affection that must last them a lifetime. The sun dips low, casting the pair in silhouette. The mother reaches for a final leaf. The joey, peering over her shoulder, reaches for the same one. They eat together in the fading light. The torch is being passed. The knowledge of the forest, accumulated over millions of years, flows from mother to child in the quiet, chewing silence of the evening. The joey has left the mother's back. He is now a subadult, a solitary figure navigating the blue haze of the eucalyptus forest. He has his own tree, his own territory, and his own life. But the forest he has inherited is not the same forest his ancestors knew. To tell the full story of the koala, we must gently acknowledge the shadows that fall across their paradise. We must speak of their vulnerability, not to incite fear, but to understand the depth of their resilience and the tenderness required to protect them. The koala is a creature of balance. We have seen how finely tuned their biology is, energy in, energy out. When that balance is disturbed, they are fragile. One of the gentle threats they face is a silent, microscopic thief, chlamydia. It is a bacteria that has swept through the population, a tragic consequence of stress and habitat loss. It causes blindness and infertility, a slow fading of the animal's vitality. But there is a counterforce to this tragedy, and it comes from the most unlikely of places. Us. In the quiet corners of the Australian suburbs and bushland, there is an army of carers. These are the wildlife warriors, often volunteers, who dedicate their lives to healing these broken spirits. Picture a koala hospital. It is not a place of cold steel and bright lights. It is a place of hushed voices and soft blankets. Here, the koala's natural need for quiet is respected above all else. The patients are kept in enclosures filled with fresh gum leaves, collected daily by volunteers who scour the countryside for the tastiest species. There is something profoundly moving about the interaction between a human carer and a sick koala. The koala, wrapped in a towel to secure its claws, looks at the human with those deep, amber eyes. It is terrified, yet it often submits to the care. It allows the eye drops to be administered. It drinks the supplement formula from a syringe. It sleeps in a laundry basket lined with heated pads. These hospitals are places of hope. They are where the resilience of the species shines. Koalas have an incredible capacity to heal if given the chance. A koala found dehydrated and blinded can, with weeks of patient care, regain its sight and its strength. There is a specific joy in the release day. The carer opens the cage door at the base of a tree in the original territory. The koala steps out, sniffs the familiar air, and climbs. It doesn't look back. It simply returns to the canopy, reclaimed by the wild. Another gentle threat is the fragmentation of their home. The forest is no longer endless. It is cut by roads and fences. For a koala, a road is a terrifying river of black stone and roaring metal monsters. They do not understand speed. Their eyes cannot judge a car moving at 100 kilometers per hour. They step out onto the tarmac with the same slow deliberation they use to step onto a branch. But here too we see adaptation and human kindness. In many places, koala bridges and underpasses have been built, green corridors that allow the animals to cross safely without touching the road. And we see the slow down signs, the community awareness. We see drivers stopping their cars in the middle of the night, hazard lights blinking, to usher a slow-walking koala across the street. It is a moment of connection, the fast-paced human world pausing, just for a minute, to let the slow world pass. Then there is the threat of the dog. In the koala's mind, a dog is a dingo, an ancient predator. The bark of a dog sends a spike of cortisol through the koala system. If cornered, the koala is not helpless. It will rear up on its hind legs, flashing its white chest and extending its formidable claws. It will bellow. It is a warrior in a woolly suit, but it prefers to hide. This vulnerability makes the koala a symbol of something larger than itself. It represents the fragility of the natural world. It asks us a question. Can we share this planet? Can we leave enough trees standing? Can we drive slow enough? Can we keep our dogs on leashes? The answer, increasingly, is a tentative yes. The plight of the koala has awakened a global empathy. People who have never visited Australia, who have never smelled a gum tree, worry about the koala. They knit mittens for burned paws after bushfires. They donate to plant trees. The koala, in its quiet, sleepy way, has recruited millions of human guardians. There is a resilience in the koala that we often overlook. They are survivors. They have lived through ice ages and volcanic eruptions. They have seen the megafauna die out. They are tough little battlers. Even after a bushfire, when the forest looks like charcoal and ash, the green shoots of the eucalyptus, the epicormic growth, burst through the blackened bark within weeks, and the koalas return. They find the green. They endure. As we watch our koala tonight, resting in a tree that borders a human farm, we see this coexistence. The lights of a farmhouse twinkle in the distance. The sound of a tractor has faded. The koala is safe in its high branch. It is aware of the humans, but it is not afraid. It has found a corridor of trees that connects the river to the hill. It has found a way through the maze. This section is not about despair. It is about the fragility of life and the strength of care. It reminds us that toughness isn't always about speed or aggression. Sometimes, toughness is just hanging on. It is staying put when the wind blows. It is healing when you are hurt. It is climbing back up the tree one claw at a time. The koala shifts, tucking its nose deeper into its fur. It is a small gray shape against the vastness of the universe. It is vulnerable, yes, but it is also ancient, stubborn, and deeply, perfectly adapted. As long as there is a gum tree standing, and as long as there are people willing to slow down, the koala will sleep on. The threats are there, but the dream continues. We have reached the final chapter of our journey. The night has deepened into the early hours of the morning, that profound silence before the dawn. The koala, our guide, our muse, and our sleeping companion, remains high in the fork of the tree, a silhouette against the field of stars. But before we leave the forest, we must acknowledge the spirit of this animal. The koala is more than just biology. It is a cultural icon, a symbol that has permeated the human imagination for thousands of years. To the indigenous peoples of Australia, the First Nations, the koala is a being of significance. In the Dreamtime stories, the ancient oral histories that explain the creation of the world, the koala often plays a pivotal role. There are many stories varying from mob to mob, but a common thread is the story of the koala and the water. In one legend, it was the koala who, in a time of great drought, drank all the water of the land and stored it in a giant tree. When the other animals begged for a drink, the koala refused. Eventually, the tree was felled, and the water flowed out to create the rivers and billabongs of Australia. This story captures the essence of the animal we have studied. Its association with trees, its ability to survive without visible water, and its solitary, sometimes hoarding nature. But other stories speak of the koala as a wise advisor, a creature that sits above the fray, observing the world with detachment and patience. They are the keepers of the high ground. They are the watchers. In the modern world, the koala has transformed into a global ambassador for peace. There is a reason we give plush koalas to foreign dignitaries. There is a reason they appear on postcards and in children's books. They represent a state of being that we desperately crave, harmlessness. Think about it. The koala has no prey. It hunts nothing. It hurts nothing. It does not steal crops, unless you are a eucalyptus farmer. It does not attack livestock. It simply exists. In a world defined by conflict and competition, the koala is a radical pacifist. It takes only the leaves that no one else wants, and it gives back fertilizer to the tree that feeds it. It is a benign presence. When we look at a koala, we feel our own heart rate slow down. We feel a sympathetic relaxation. This is the koala effect. Their round faces, their forward-facing eyes, their fuzzy ears, they trigger our biological nurturing instinct. But deeper than that, they trigger a desire for rest. They are the gurus of sleep. They give us permission to do nothing. So, as we prepare to leave the forest, take a final look at our friend. The koala has moved slightly. It is now curled into the classic skein position, a perfect ball of gray wool. The wind gently rocks the branch, a natural cradle. The leaves whisper their ancient secrets. The smell of eucalyptus oil is faint but clearing, a scent of purity and calm. We have traveled through the evolutionary history of the diprotodont, marveled at the double thumbs, shivered in the cold rain, and felt the warmth of the pouch. We have chewed the toxic leaves and bellowed into the dark. We have ridden on the mother's back and navigated the solitary map of the forest. We have seen the vulnerability and the resilience. And now we return to the beginning, the stillness. The koala does not know we have been watching. It does not care. It is content in its own private universe of sensory minimalism. It is warm, It is full. It is safe. It is the master of the slow life, the king of the canopy, the eternal sleeper. The forest begins to fade from our view. The details of the bark smooth out. The sound of the crickets drops to a low hum. The image of the koala becomes a soft, gray blur, a comforting spot of darkness in the mind's eye. You have walked the path of the koala. You have climbed the tree. You have found your fork. And now, like the koala, it is your turn to let go, to let the grip of the day loosen, to let the muscles unlock, to let the brain float in its quiet fluid. The koala is asleep. The forest is asleep. The world is turning slowly, carrying us all into the shadow. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to learn. There is only the drift. The journey is complete. The script is written and the story is told. Now, the words themselves begin to slow down. Can you feel the weight of your own body, just as the koala feels the weight of its limbs against the branch? Let your attention drift to your hands. Imagine they are resting as lightly as the koala's paws, no longer gripping, no longer holding on. Let your fingers uncurl. Let the tension in your palms dissolve. Move your attention to your shoulders. Let them drop. Let them sink. Imagine you are wearing that heavy, warm coat of gray wool, a coat that shields you from the cold, a coat that makes you feel safe and hidden. You are wrapped in warmth. Breathe in, slowly. Imagine the clean, sharp scent of the forest air. Clears your mind, cools your thoughts. Breathe out. Release the day. Release the noise. You are high above the ground now. The worries of the earth are small and far away, down on the forest floor. They cannot reach you here. You are in the canopy. You are supported. The branch holds you. The darkness holds you. The forest is silent. The only sound is the rhythm of your own breathing, slow and steady. Like the koala, you are a master of rest. You know how to power down. You know how to find the stillness in the center of the wind. The image of the gray, sleeping shape fades gently into the black. There is only peace. There is only quiet. There is only sleep. Drift away now. The tree is strong. The night is long, and you are safe.